All right, welcome everybody to MogTalk episode 189. Today we will be talking about the Paris Games Week Time Attack event hosted by Solary, plus the World Race coming up. We have a lot of people on the show, and it's probably going to get noisy and crazy, but I'm going to try to make it through this intro as good as I can. If you guys have not seen MogTalk before, it is a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community discussing everything from Savage Raiding to Chocobo Racing. So let's go ahead and start introductions because we got 8 people on here. It's going to take a second, and I'm going to go with Mental Boom first. So Dance, say hi to everybody.
Good evening. I'm Dance.
There you go. All right. What role did you play at the event? How about that?
I played tank at the event. I was paladin every single day.
Okay. All right. Fox.
Yeah, what's up? I'm Fox. I play all ranged, and I am also the raid leader of the group. And I was very nice to invite Dance to come along with us.
Okay. All right. And then with Team Solary here, Ryder.
I'm Ryder. I'm known for eating eggs. I guess I was the raid leader for Solary. It was pretty lit.
Okay. Sweet, dude. All right. Milka.
Good morning, I'm Milka. I'm caster main for the entire playtime of the game, I guess. And I'm usually the last minute replacement for that.
Okay. Ensemble, Ashura.
Hello, I'm Ashura. I'm the tank from Ensemble.
All right. Tax.
Hey guys, I'm Tax. I'm the raid leader of Ensemble during Paris Games Week. And I'm maining tank since I started the game.
Sweet. Redux, Raiko.
Yeah, what's up? I'm Raiko. I was playing the Gunbreaker for Redux.
Okay. And Sham.
Yo, I'm Sham.
Alright, Sham, you're a little low. Even though I have you turned up all the way, you're still a little low, just to let you know.
Wow, okay.
It's alright. I mean, just get close to the mic,
Yeah, it's gonna be fine.
Okay, it's good. So today's show, we are going to be talking about a few different topics here. We're going to be focusing mostly on the Paris Games Week event that happened because all the teams that are on the show today were there on stage competing in one of the first Final Fantasy XIV competitive PvE events that we've had that was at something that actually wasn't just an online stream. And also, we will be talking a little bit about the World Race that's coming up on Tuesday for the people who will be participating in that. That being said, I'm going to ask a quick question, and this is going to be open floor. Anybody can talk about it. I'm sure Dance is going to win.
I'm fucking ready, dude. Come on, give it to me. Come on.
You ready?
Fight me,
Okay,
dude, fight
all right.
Give it to me.
So, what was... You guys all went to stage and everything. What was that whole overall perception of how that event was going? Are you happy that the event happened? Are you like, man, fuck this, I never want to do this again?
I need hearing aids.
Hearing aids.
It was really fucking loud.
Really noisy.
No,
It wasn't really that loud on stage. The worst part was the feedback from the headsets, but
Dude,
apart
why
from
you
that, it
start
was
with
pretty
this
calm.
part?
Like,
It was
To be fair,
amazing.
like-
This event was fucking
like-
lit.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
like-
imagine
I'm just
for sure.
naming about
the
the sound.
event in general was really fucking good. Like,
Uh-huh.
it was an awesome thing that Square and Solary hosted that. And like the biggest problem on stage was actually the headsets and the ear raping sounds, which happened in 50 seconds, where you started screaming randomly.
So,
And
have
the
you guys ever
issue-
been on stage before? I mean, have you guys ever been on stage?
It depends, like
Small
playing,
stages, yeah, like in
Like
Like
school, but-
school and shit.
playing video games.
People, so yeah.
Playing video games, no.
Okay.
Like conferences and other shit, yes. Was pretty similar to other experiences up in front of a crowd of people. The only issue just was like the fucking amount of noise.
well, for me
Just
and Ashu,
real.
were like we were on stage during Gamescom, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
This year's Gamescom and last year's Gamescom.
Okay.
So it wasn't really the first time that I was on stage.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were kind of in the middle of the event. There's like lots of other stuff going around you, right?
Mm-hmm. To our immediate left, there was another stage very similar to our own. They were mostly playing Counter-Strike, and I think
League of
was it
Legends.
League of Legends.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
like,
it's
There was some
Yeah.
Fortnite as well.
And
Oh,
Rainbow
yeah.
Six as well.
The loudest stage was sort of immediately in front of us and to the right a bit, and it was a fucking like the main stage. So on one day it was like a League of Legends tournament, but on the finals day it was a fucking Just Dance tournament, and they cranked up they cranked up their volume to like 150%. And if you rewatch the French POV of that stream, you will hear the fucking Just Dance music in the background, causing a fucking feedback loop.
Oh my god!
That's all we could hear the entire day of the final was just some fucking trashy pop music that two idiots on stage are dancing to. Oh my god!
Yeah.
I tried to
keep going.
I tried to walk through that crowd to go to the toilet, and I got knocked out by people just fucking jazz handsing everywhere.
Alright, you basically all just mentioned the only bad thing about this event. Like, you have to mention we all got paid to go there. People got flown out to participate.
You got paid?
No,
I got about
Where's my money?
Come on, man. You know what I mean. Like, everything else, organization was so good. Like, we arrived, there was one the whole day there. We got our rooms, everything was paid for. It was like everything else around this event, besides maybe the audience stage, everything was perfect. Like, there's like nothing I would change. I would just do it again and in a heartbeat. Like, I'm so happy this event happened, and I'm so happy that I got to meet everyone there. Like, that was like, I said everyone's a winner because we just get to meet each other and hang out with each other, to be honest.
I mean, that kind of
definitely gotta agree with
that. For sure.
That kind of seemed like how the event really was. It was mostly just going out and experiencing it, being around a whole bunch of people and being able to do something that's just not FanFest, right? And so everybody looks forward to FanFest, going there, meeting and seeing everybody. But this is just like an extra event to go out and see more people and hang out and have fun. It didn't seem like the motivation was super, hey, crazy competition, you have to win, these are the best people absolutely in the world, kind of thing. It was more like, hey, let's go out here and just try to do some showcases and see how well we can do on stage.
I think it very much was just let's highlight this game as something that could potentially be a sort of more competitive and more widely known thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something that Square Enix is probably going to want to try and at least focus or improve on it at least a little bit. And this event has shown them that it is possible. Because after the final, the organizers came up to us and was like, that was amazing. We couldn't have asked for anything better. Like, afterwards in feedback, Yoshi was like, this was a massive, massive success for us and for Square Enix. Like, the Square Enix executives in Japan were like massively happy with it. There was Square Enix representatives in the crowd on like the day of the final. So like overall, I think it's just been an amazing event, and it will have massively helped sort of, I don't know, in at least the French like gamer scene, made Final Fantasy something that's potentially going to be a competitive
Is
experience,
this where we say
similar to
we
WoW.
got paid for the final, dude, or not?
We didn't get.
Maybe I can actually make a career out of it now.
I hope that, man.
Sure.
I mean, this is really to start. I mean, to be honest with you, this is like, we're trying to push for this, and I want this to go forward, because this is something that's important to me. I want to see the raid community getting highlighted more often and going to having events like this happen. And so at first I was a little bit cautious, because this wasn't something that was like planned for like years and years and years. It was someone had an idea and they needed to produce it in time for Paris Games Week. So any kind of faults that I see, it was like, well, that kind of makes sense. I mean, they haven't really had, multiple years to plan this event out, right?
We had a month to prepare.
Yeah, I mean
that was it.
It wasn't even really a month.
It wasn't really a month.
It was nearly cancelled before.
It was like
we had a month to prepare
Like,
people, but we had like 2 weeks of knowing exactly what we were doing on stage.
like
Yeah, true.
the two people who almost invited everyone to this fucking tournament were Sham and me, because when we like talked about it the first time, there were two groups which could come, which ended up like being only like two groups with 4 people. And then like somehow Fox's group was invited, if I recall correctly. Sham and me tried to fill up other groups. I filled up Ensemble, Sham filled up his group, and then Ryder filled up his own group as well. Then people dropping out like last minute, one day before we have to fly or something like that. Like the organizing part was very interesting.
Well, I mean, it was, again, very quick organizing. And the thing is, when you have 8 people and you're bringing 8 people out, there's a good chance one person's just going to be sick or not be able to show up, right? So it's just is what it is. There's not much you could do with it. I'm very, very happy with how it ended up because, again, I was kind of hesitant on my end. I was like, man, I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't know what's going to go on. And even the format seemed a little bit off for me because it's not exactly what I was envisioning, but it made sense for what was, on stage. You could only really have 8 people on stage at a time. So I gotta go ahead and do my own personal applause to Solary for making this event happen, and also Square Enix for making a successful event out. Something that I'm gonna be honest, I was a little doubtful at first.
Everyone was.
Yeah.
Like when we heard about this the first time, which was way before, a month before it was announced, we were all like, yeah, I don't think this is gonna happen. Like we were doubting. Everyone was like, until we have the tickets, like literally in our hands, we're not believing this is gonna happen at all. And then when we heard like how the format is, like 8 people at once on stage, we're like a bit like, what? How is this gonna play out and everything? And literally until we were there, I think everyone was doubtful. But after day 1, like all the doubts were just gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As soon as I got told, I was Googling it like a madman because I thought it was a kidney farm.
Oh my god.
I mean, you never know, dude. How much did you guys know about Solary before going out and before, I guess, the most recent World Race?
We knew about the World Race drama that they had last time. I think that's pretty much
That's
it.
pretty much
The
it.
only
yeah.
thing I knew about Solary was the white bot meme where they pulled out a white bot into the strike song.
I mean, I think everybody was just
Oh, yeah.
initially
I
because
mean, I know a
everybody
bit
had
of them
that.
because I'm French and I know like French company stuff. Like I
Mhm.
know that's been esport for like a while now, like a year or 2, even more maybe now.
Well, I
So-
mean, they're a company based out of France that focuses on the French
Yeah.
gaming community, so it makes sense. I haven't heard of them. I don't know how well known overall in Europe they are, but
I mean, the thing is, since in the Final Fantasy 14 community, there's a lot of memeing going on with French players, right? Especially, maybe you guys don't know it.
oh, I know. I have
but
Moogle and
like,
all that stuff. Yeah, I hear it all
yeah,
the time.
like
Yeah.
we meme a lot on French players. And then there came this team, Solary. They showed up out of nowhere. It was a full French team. And they said they were well progging and they didn't end up so well in the end. And
Yeah.
they got memed on quite hard and they made themselves kind of a rather bad name. And but with this event, for me personally, they redeemed themselves. Like I now think way better of them, and I hope people can also change their mind about them and like look at what we got here and what they organized. To be honest.
All right, yeah, dude. That's basically, I guess that's what I mean, I saw the gaming house and I saw the whiteboard and everything on that first one, and that made me excited because I was like, holy shit, there's actually a team of people in the same room doing this. I never thought I'd see that with Final Fantasy 14, so that made me happy seeing it. I know it was kind of funny for a lot of people because how it all turned out, but I want to see more of it. I want to see more of their involvement in the 14 community going forward in the future. And I kind of want to take a second to go into a little bit of the format of the event because this is something that I saw it and I was like, is this really going to be interesting? Having one team up there and kind of race the clock, then the next team comes up and race the clock, and then the next team comes up and everything. Were you guys happy with how that format was?
At first, I was like a bit doubtful. Like I thought we were gonna play on stage at the same time, 2 teams, and we would play a bit more because we were like, wait, we only play like for a combined 3 hours over the whole week. Was like, wait, that's not a lot. But after I was playing on day 2, right, and after seeing Ensemble nearly one-shot everything, I got a bit nervous. Like I got nervous, and I was like, yo, this is actually pretty good because now people. They see the times of the other teams and we have to beat their time. So basically we say, yo, either we're going to one-shot everything or not. So for the teams, for myself, it was actually exciting. And I don't know how it was for the viewers, though, how they felt about it, if they were like aware of what was going on exactly. But in the end, I felt like the system worked out just fine, to be honest.
Yeah, it did. And the way it turned out, of course, near the end of the event, the final, where we had like what was it, 9% in rage?
0.9.
0.9.
0.9.
0.9.
I still love you. Sorry.
That was exciting. That actually worked out a lot better than I thought it was. Because I think Gauntlet, I'm like, okay, well, we have all the teams on at the same time racing, and we kind of keep our focus on the two teams that are ahead, neck and neck, and then pay attention to that. Because that's a little bit easier. And I mean, it did get kind of awkward. Because, again, personally, for those who weren't noticed, I did my very mediocre job at English shoutcasting the event on all the days at 1 a.m., trying my best, and it was on day I think 3 was probably the hardest one, just because it was one of those where it's just kind of seeing the same content over, and no offense to Redux Solary for seeing that same content over and over again.
But we tried our best, but we kind of got sabotaged a few times.
Alright, coming on. Ego. Lower it down a bit, mate. You might not fit through doors.
Oh,
to be fair, they should have given you a co-host, Frosty, to be honest. Like,
You needed a co-host.
Well, it was just difficult to plan it out.
I mean, you really did a good job for like casting it alone. Like, if you would have someone to like talk with about the stream, like someone which you could bounce back your opinions and stuff,
right?
It would have been way better. But like, you did a great job alone.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you for trying to make me feel better for a mediocre job. And so, I mean, on the last day, I felt it was a lot better for me overall. Although, Jesus Christ, I don't know if you guys know. Maybe it's obvious and apparent, but I never did Ultimates on my own time because I've never had time to really go out and do it. And so I spent a lot of time just sitting there going through all the information I can for Ultimates to make sure I knew exactly what I was talking about. And I felt like there was never a second within that last day where I was not talking during the final event.
That was good. That was good.
It was tough, and I hope, because again, like, I guess when we're talking about shoutcasting and commentating on Ultimate fights, you also have to explain it to people who have no fucking clue what's going on, right? And so I'm like, how do I make that like entertaining for people who know what's going on and entertaining for people who have no clue what's going on at the same time? It's the same thing I dealt with Feast, because most people don't know what's going on at Feast. But
yeah,
it's there is a lot of stuff that I saw, and I'm glad I went through it because there's a lot of things I know I can improve on now. And because of the short time period, we just couldn't find someone. And the other part is that this event happened right after patch release, right?
Yeah.
It kind of fucked us too.
So all the people, like anyone that we could really get on there, they have to be someone who would not be streaming or doing their own stuff and would want to get in that whole time zone situation where they could. Most people in Europe, they were maybe working during that time, or they were in the US, they were sleeping, and so it would have to be. I don't know. It was just a difficult situation. I think going forward to the next events, we definitely could.
I think that the chosen time where we played was not the best. Like you said, like everyone usually is working, NA is sleeping. So the finals were at a better time zone, I'd say. But the first 2 days, it was a horrible.
Yeah, the first three was rough. And I think there's no way they could change that either. They probably had other slots already filled by other games, and so they had to find.
Yeah,
they had only the stage for like the morning and then the afternoon on the Saturday because of it's not their stage, it was like Ace's stage or something. So they had to like allow time for all of them. So
but I mean,
I think for the timing for the actual Paris Games Week event itself, the playing on like Wednesday through to Friday was actually all right if you were trying to generate a crowd at Paris Games Week. Obviously, it wasn't good for streaming. But
That's
I think
true,
the intention there was for Saturday to be the big final, like put it in an afternoon slot rather than a morning, catch people on wherever the hell they need to be to watch that at a decent time. So I think that's probably why the timing was the way it was.
Yeah. I mean, and again, these are little tiny critiques for me personally, because I also, like, after the event was done, I was done casting everything, I was like, all right, let me go up, take a shower, eat some breakfast, and go to work. It was a rough few days for me. I'm happy I did it, though. I mean, and I want to see it happen more. But we'll see how that goes. going forward. But most part, you guys all enjoyed it, right? You all had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Very sure everyone enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to say with the format again, the third place again, going back to that. How much did Solary Redux? How much did you guys practice for those fights?
Not at all.
Alright, so with the comp that we went into it with, which was with us replacing Ludi in like the last week, and we got Milka. We did like 1 day in Eden, 1 day in UCOB, and then fuck all in. We winged it the whole time.
Yeah, like before we went on stage, we literally just said to each other, "Yeah, let's do party finder strats." Everyone said, "Okay, cool," and then we went on stage, and that was the entire preparation.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, for us, like we actually practiced at one time.
Okay.
We just went one run like 10, 11, and MNF, and then we were like, no, let's just not like practice that and go to Titan again.
Yeah, when we actually arrived on like Final Omega, we were like, yeah, let's actually practice Titan and hopefully win because no one wanted to do it.
Oh god. Do you guys think you would have done better on the ultimates?
I don't think so.
I mean,
somewhat, yes.
I
mean, Yoshi was only cleared it once and didn't clear Yuvu at all. So it would still be a bit yikes, but overall probably better than Alpha.
Okay. What about Shinryu? Did you guys do
Oh, we never did that.
No.
We never did that. And like half of the party.
I think we ran it once, just one shot it, and was like, okay,
yeah,
that's
but
good.
we haven't never went in with Errol actually before we went in on stage. Like, so we only did it once with.
I mean, you never went into Uwu with me until we were on stage.
Yeah,
that was the first. That was literally on stage. Was the first time I'd done Uwu with the fucking Mental Boom guys. So I was like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, what strats are these? What's going on, man?
Dude, just a tank. It's okay, bro.
Yeah, I was just like,
you're a paladin even, so it's not the worst. Dude, it's fine.
Yeah, I know. I'll just run around and scream.
Yeah, you don't have to pull the boss or like move it every time as well.
Proliferate hallowed ground, then
resident sleep.
I've done Uwus with Dance where he like struggled to find D after like 5 pulls, but he was to be fair.
That was like the first time I'd ever gone into that fight.
That was the first time we met.
I was absolutely hammered. It was like 1 a.m. I had work the next day. I was just like, fuck it, drunk ooh, let's go. It's like pull the boss to D, Dance. It's like, where's that? It's like, it's over there. All right, cool. And then I just pull the boss like polar opposite from where D is on the map. I'm like, D, right? No.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest, dude. That's how I do all Party Finder. I get a couple wine. I'm like, all right, dude, let's go.
Exactly. hammered FF, best FF.
Oh, jeez, man. This week's been rough. Just tangent, dude. Party Finder's been shit this week. I don't know what it is. Like, I get on Tuesday. I'm like, all right, let's clear Leviathan. I spend like fucking 5 hours on it. I'm like, why do I even do this anymore? It's like,
I mean, at this point, everybody that wanted to clear the Savage content should have cleared the Savage content, and you're kind of left with the people that can't clear the Savage content.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it. I'm
scraping the barrel.
I'm like just trying to farm it right now, and just I can't get my fucking Titan weapon because everyone's rolling on it. They're like, no, I want it for my level 15 Scholar. I'm like, all right, dude.
Frosty, just wait until the ID is removed so you can get like loot for every run you do.
Yeah.
Like at that point, people will redo them again because they want piss. So just wait.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna have to do. PF boy, man. All right.
Just clear ultimate. You get the weapon that's equivalent, bro.
That's what I'm gonna try to do. Party Finder ultimate, dude. I'm gonna see how that works.
It's the real biz. That is.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Extra 60 substat pog.
All right. So besides that, I do want to talk about the experience kind of there at the event. You guys talked a little bit about how you're out partying and having fun and everything. How much did you guys, everyone, like all 32 of you, knew each other before going to the event?
I think, like, for my part, I knew the majority of people going there, besides, like, Loves, Lanny, and, like, the Riders group, basically. Like, the majority of Riders group I didn't know.
Okay.
But I I knew like some of Redux. I knew the people from Mental Boom and like my people, obviously, from Ensemble.
Okay.
But yeah.
So it wasn't like you're going and there's just a whole bunch of people. You're like, this is really awkward. Hey, what's your name? And shaking hands and stuff.
It was exactly like
The
that.
first day.
Oh,
First day, yeah.
I get out of the car, right? I was like one of the later people to arrive. So I get out of the car and I have like 5 people standing there like cheering on, whoa, 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 you know? I see
that was my fucking idea. I was like, he's here, let's fucking cheer, dude, come on, clap for him.
So yeah, I see a few people I recognize from pictures, right? Like Muna and Dens and Yaze. And then there's a guy, like really small guy standing there with like Harry Potter glasses. I'm like, who the fuck is that?
Harry Potter.
And he's like, I'm your caster, Ariel. And I'm like, oh, okay. That was like everyone. Like if you haven't seen the pictures of people, you just wouldn't recognize them, right? So you just had like, they had to introduce themselves. And I mean, most people knew me because I stream occasionally with Cam and there's pictures on the internet about me, so nothing about that. But I don't know people. So it was like, they came up to me, oh, what's up, folks? I'm like, okay, yeah. Who are
Isn't
you?
it so? Yeah, isn't that the best feeling in the world when someone comes up to you and you're like, hey, and like, man, I hope I don't fuck up and they're upset with me because I have no clue who this is. Right? And it's like that embarrassing awkward situation.
Yeah, it is awkward a bit, but after a while you know who is who. Like you'll just and yeah, the first day was just like that. And there's a few people second day you see the first time, but after that it was just fine.
The best thing was that there was nobody there that was like really awkward because I didn't know like quite a few of the people, but like within like 12, I guess there was some, but within like
kind of awkward and
within like 12 hours of knowing Errol, he was like on my back kicking my knees. Like,
Yes,
telling me to go faster.
he was riding you.
Yeah, dude.
He was riding you, bro.
He was within like 12 hours of meeting the guy.
No alcohol, no nothing, just
No, full alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the full alcohol. He destroyed his fucking hotel room on the first night.
No, Stick still doesn't know that.
He knew.
Okay.
We told him.
When did you tell him it?
He like on the last day, we were like, "Oh, by the way, Errol absolutely demolished your room on the first night." Like, I didn't even. And his response was, "I didn't even know, to be honest. Couldn't smell anything."
Dude, me and Cake walked into that the next morning. Fucking awful stench.
Ugh.
Errol. I don't want to know how much he drank, but it was
a
too
lot.
much.
He drank too much, dude.
On the first day, and he drank all other days combined. He was very, very.
The man brought so much fucking beer with him, dude. Like every time he came to like hang out with us, he just brought more beer with him. It's like, where are you getting this from? And he's like,
that was awesome, man.
His actual answer was, "I'm Belgian, dude."
Were you guys like hungover half the event?
I wasn't. I don't get hangovers.
I wasn't at all.
I
was
drunk for the whole event, but I don't get hangovers. It was pretty good.
What do you mean you don't get hangovers? You
I
were in the airport, monged out, man.
Oh yeah, that was just because like, I'd been on like a week-long fucking bender, dude.
Yeah, so you don't get hangovers, do you?
I mean, after a week-long bender, like you got to expect something.
Ugh.
Plus, we hadn't slept that night. We decided to do like an all-nighter, like.
You guys did an all-nighter?
Just because the flight was so early, we were like, yeah, let's just stay up.
The flight wasn't early. The flight was at midday.
That's early.
We had to get up at 6 a.m.
Oh my god, gamers, man.
Dude, we stayed in like Minnie's room. We stayed in Minnie's room, and he put some questionable stuff on the TV. It was great.
No! Oh no! Please not that.
Oh Jesus. Hopefully, Solary doesn't have any like fees from the hotels. Like,
I mean, Sham might have.
Like, at some point, like it was rooms for 2. Mm-hmm. And we ended up like being 15 in the fucking room. And someone broke the handle for the toilets.
What?
Really?
So at like 4 a.m. I was stuck in the toilet. and I had to knock on the door to wake up Kane so he could open for me.
And Kane really has deep sleep, so he had to scream.
I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised we didn't get more noise complaints. Because like
that's because you weren't here during the time
we got a noise complaint.
We got.
I'm surprised we didn't get more.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
I knew we got noise complaints.
After we played bowling on Wii Sports, and Loves like taught me to do a strike backwards. I did one, which was like first try backward strike. Then I did one more afterwards, like the second try. The third try I did one more, and then people started screaming, and we instantly got called to shut up.
First we got a call. We got a call like all shut up, and then he was for pizza. Then we got a second call, and then there was the guy.
Yeah, he was pissed off.
Speaking of charges, though, I'm genuinely worried, and like Cake and Bandia keep like DMing me. We stayed in like an Airbnb the night before our flight to Paris, and I'm genuinely worried I'll get charged for that because we left it with Bandia's stick in like the sink, and it was just a fucking.
What in the sink?
There was frozen garlic bread somewhere. There was. We tried to feed a very drunk Bandia some frozen garlic bread, and
frozen?
Yeah.
No.
What the fuck?
Why would you do that?
It was funny.
Oh my god.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, did you guys actually sleep at all during the event?
I
tried to,
didn't.
but people kept snoring.
We did sleep.
Well,
like I slept actually quite well. The beds were actually really comfy in that hotel.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. Like I was like,
based on that video, Tatsu didn't sleep
Yeah,
very well.
Tatsu did not sleep very well.
Yeah, no, that's a lie. Tatsu was like first day. He was like, this bed is more comfy than at home.
And then the fucking. And then the fucking beer like started snoring in his fucking
He
room.
snored too, man. Come on, bro. We discussed about it before, and he was like, "It's fine. We're gonna snore the walls of this hotel, right?"
Oh, that has to be awkward like that, going through that and hearing people snore and everything else. I mean, that's weird. Kind of, you're rooming up with someone you might have never. Well, I'm assuming you guys have never slept in the same room before, and so you have no clue what's gonna happen. Right?
Milka
Actually,
have shared a bed.
Milka had slept in a room with Dance and Bandia, which is why he decided to room with me. But apparently, I scream in my sleep, so I.
Yeah, you were worse than me or Bandia, right?
You just like wake up and scream?
No, like apparently I just scream in my sleep.
What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
It's really hard to explain, but he makes really weird noises when he sleeps.
I don't know what to say to you, dude.
Did you record it?
No.
Okay.
Tatsu recorded Fox.
Tatsu.
Snoring, dude.
It was.
Where's
on eBay right now.
Where's the video? Where's the fucking video?
I mean, I've got it on my WhatsApp. I could probably send it to you, Frosty.
I'm not going to play a video. I don't know what the fuck's going to be on the video. I don't know if I trust that enough, man.
Dude, you will just hear hibernating beer.
Hibernating beer?
Yeah.
Fox was just snoring, and this was like 3 a.m. the day before the flight or something like that, and Tatsu's trying to fucking sleep, and Fox is just snoring away. I had the same problem in my room.
I slept so well, dude. Like,
yeah, we did.
I slept like
We found out.
Did anyone here have the double bed issue? Where like it was one bed for the whole room?
Yeah, I had it with Ilan.
Because I know Cake and Lenny had that.
Dude, that
You know what was the worst part was, like, at the last night I fell asleep and fucking Ilan pushed me off the bed.
I got it too.
He even made fucking pictures of me lying on the ground with the blanket over me.
Jesus. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Paris Games Week. Kind of. So you guys all had a good time, at least partying out there, drinking, playing Wii bowling, and sleeping on the floor, blankets on you. When you guys were out on the floor at Paris Games Week, did that go okay? Like, I actually don't know much about the event at all.
The event is huge. Like, I legit was surprised when I walked into that. It's absolutely huge. There was so much going on, and it was also a holiday, so there were like so many kids. Like, you walk in there like 11 a.m. There's like a shit ton of kids just walking around.
Define kids. Is kids like 10-year-old,
like
5-year-old?
10.
Like 10 to
Fortnite community.
The Zoomers were there. You know, it was Zoomer Paris. And I came there, my Morgan Boomer, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? It was like there were lots of cool stands to go to. Like, there were lots of games and brands and shit like that where you could visit, of course. And it was just way bigger than I expected. Especially like Hall 3, which was like the hall with all the events going on, with the stages, and the stages were huge. And like there were even celebrities, like French celebrities. I don't know if anybody knows SOAS, which was an ex League of Legends player. He was there. We've met him, like mentioned before. And it was actually just way bigger than I expected, but it was cool to be there. I probably would not go there if I wouldn't be invited, because it's all in French, and even though a lot of people think I'm French, I'm not.
Oh, you're not French?
Yeah.
No, you are. What the fuck? Stop lying.
Yeah, but I was surprised, and it was cool. It was just cool to be there. We also hung out there and bought some stuff afterwards, and yeah, I think it was a cool experience.
Okay, all right, yeah, because how many of you guys have been to actual FanFest?
I've been to both of them and Gamescoms.
Okay, so go ahead.
Well, the FanFests are usually very different to whatever stages they have on conventions like Gamescom or Paris Games, and you can't really compare them at all.
No.
It's way smaller. The FanFest in Paris was like so much smaller, it's not comparable. The amount of people, well, yeah. I mean, that was like, the difference is like, it was maybe half of one hall of Paris Games Week was like the Paris, the FanFest. And it was just also different people there. Like the FanFest has all kinds of people, like from young to old, but here it was like mostly dominated by really young people overall.
Yeah, Paris FanFest was like, it was pretty interesting to see so when I went to North American FanFest, it was, everybody's from the US, everybody is exactly the same, English is their main language and everything, but Paris FanFest, everyone still speaks English, but it's not their main language, right? And so it's like this huge melting pot of the Final Fantasy XIV community for EU, and I felt like it was actually really interesting to see all that going on. And I was just thinking about how this event went and how it would go if it was going on at FanFest. And I was thinking it has to be the exact same format, right? They couldn't really have 16 computers on that stage.
It would be the same, and I think that would be totally fine. Just having it at FanFest would be so much bigger than it would be at Paris Games Week, because it would be the focus. Like, having only PvP at FanFest is, I mean, a lot of people are resin sleeper about PvP, right? And
yeah,
lots of people are.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that's true. I'm doing my best to change it, but
and just having there a PvE event to show, because still the majority of community is very casual, but just to show off the fights live on the stage there would be really, really big. And having it stream on the official channel and stuff like that, that would be huge for the game, for the rating, for the community. I would love to see something like that happen, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely would too. And but I mean, that would take up so much stage time, wouldn't it? I mean, how much, like, this event in general took up how many hours?
About 8.
8? I would say it's closer
everyone
to like
played
10,
1.5
12.
hours twice, so it was like 12 hours in total.
Yeah, it was 12.
Just invite Ensemble.
But you can easily cut it down to half.
Just get the sub-hour game back
Dude,
again,
just invite Mental Boom to one-shot Eden 1 to 4, including Shenryu.
Like, you don't need
done that
5
if someone
fights
didn't
per
mix
like
the
stage.
if someone didn't silence their
I don't know you. I don't know who you're talking about. Okay?
Yeah, that was actually hilarious. That silence. We're like, why'd everybody just die? Did they just really on stage forget to use silence on the first fight of the tier?
No. No.
Silent gamer.
But yeah, no.
Your fucking commentary the second time around was absolutely amazing. Both that's instantly silenced. Continue.
I mean, to be honest,
watching that was fucking amazing.
Just invite a team that has the capacity of the teams at the Paris Games Weekend that can just one-shot both fights, both ultimates, or maybe 3 at the given time. Then you could show off all 3 fights within the time frame of 1 hour. And that would just be 1 small hour. I mean, of course, if they start wiping, it would become a shit show and would look really bad. But I mean, Ensemble did the one-shot on Newcoop. We nearly did the one-shot on Ultimate. So it is possible.
Yeah. I think it could be done. I mean, and if they do 3 ultimates, or it could just be 2 ultimates, to be honest with you. If they do 2 ultimates from this expansion and they kind of had people kind of come on and come off the stage, it could be okay, because the way we worked with Feast is, there's 2 teams at a time. I wonder if they really could also do it like a secondary stage or something and have like these events happening throughout the event, like on the first day or whatever. have like all the qualifying stuff, and then the final be on the main stage.
Yeah, that would also be
They
good,
could they could also save space and just layer the PCs a little bit, because there's not really a requirement to see the player behind the screen.
Right.
So with the space they had on stage, they could have had like 16 people on that stage easily, just by making like a raised platform behind the first set of PCs and having a second set there.
Yeah,
that would have been fine.
Looking better at the other FanFest, the stage usually was like twice the size of what we had at Paris Games Week. The stage in Paris was actually really...
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It was small at Paris Games Week. I didn't know what I expected. I expected it to be honestly smaller than what it was. So I was surprised.
To be fair, it was bigger than I expected it.
Yeah, it was actually very big.
Like I thought it would be smaller than it actually was.
Yeah, it was a proper stage. I think they just
definitely.
Just put it that way. For Paris Games Week, it was huge.
Yeah.
For any other event, it's not that big, but it was fine.
Yeah, it was absolutely fine.
Totally
it
fine.
definitely fit the event. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I do want to ask, because some of you guys were on stage before, some of you weren't. Were any of you guys actually nervous while you're on stage? Like, if you died, you're like, "Oh fuck, I want to just kill myself," or was it just
not at all?
In Eden, I didn't feel any pressure whatsoever. Okay. In Ultimate, especially after fucking Ensemble's performance, it was like maximum stress, maximum pressure until we lost, and then I was just like instantly relieved and felt nothing afterwards. So I think purely based on Ensembles.
I think we had more pressure when we got not on stage and actually on stage, because we kept looking at you like almost one-shotting over. Well, can you just wipe?
I remember my group, I remember everyone down there screaming out of happiness when you guys wiped to Octet because of bugs.
We didn't wipe to Octet.
We didn't wipe to Octet.
We actually
that was.
But we actually didn't expect you to actually recover this.
You guys had to wipe, and then you literally just
wasn't
PGW.
Oh yeah,
we almost wiped. All of them were happy for a second, and I was still looking at the screen, seeing that fucking healer LB. I saw the rest on unit. I was like, okay, guys, they won't wipe. They won't wipe, and everyone was happy until they saw it.
That was pretty hype.
My brain was switched off that entire recovery. I was just focusing entirely just on don't fucking die here. Please don't die. Please don't die. That's all I was thinking about.
The only stressful experience for me was looking to my right in the middle of O11S and seeing Milka scrolling through Twitter on his phone on stage.
What?
What the fuck are you doing?
Your fucking one-handed Black Mage gameplay just.
Yeah.
He was fully scrolling through Twitter on stage, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude?"
It was my opener. I only have one
button. Everyone, dude.
I think personally, also what I just want to add is that there wasn't no really pressure from the people watching or the viewers there. Personally, you don't see the viewers. You were seeing them, but you also didn't at the same time. And it was more about because I like to be a bit of a shit talker, and of course I went into this whole event we're gonna bring it home completely. And then seeing Ensemble actually pulling this off with a single wipe, which was already when day two I was a bit nervous about that because I didn't know if we would manage it. And then seeing the Yuka one shot, I was like, oof, all right, this is actually gonna be rough. And then I think it was mostly being always after other teams, where I put pressure on myself, basically a bit of nervous there, but not because it was on a stage or because it was in front of viewers. More just about winning this, bringing it home, that kind of thing. More likely.
Yeah,
it couldn't have helped you guys that for the whole 2 weeks leading up to the event, Nick kept DMing people "Oh yeah, we're fucked, dude. We haven't done any practice." And then are you sure?
Saying they don't know shit. They haven't trained. They don't know anything at all, and they want to stage and one-shot everything basically. Fuck Nick for being a liar.
The best thing is the day before we went to Paris Games Week, we went into Eden 1, wiped to it, killed Eden 1 afterwards, went into Eden 2, died to the Enrage, skipped Eden 3, went into E4 Savage, wiped to the Enrage, and then said fuck it. So it was an absolute shitfest the day before we went there.
Oh my god. No, yeah, I was watching and I was like wondering, okay, so how's this gonna go? Because if they wipe, then we have to go through all these mechanics again. And then, for my side, shoutcasting, I'm like, all right, how do I still make that interesting in any way? And I start discussing, okay, well, they lost this much time. They can make it up here. They can do this. And so I'm brainstorming all this stuff. And when I'd see you guys wipe, I'm like, all right, well, when they died here, are they going to jump off the side? Are they going to do something? And there was a handful of those situations. So it wasn't like one of those events where you're going through and it was whoever could kill it fastest. It was whoever didn't have anyone die or wipe, right?
Yeah, it was, especially for the final, it was very much a sort of, it can go either way. Whichever team has the least people fucking up is probably going to win. And it's kind of how it ended up going. And
then Redux starts the entire event, right? And so Redux...
I'm so sorry.
You know what was funny? When we were watching on day one, we were all watching in the lobby together the event.
Yeah.
And you first kept saying stuff about uptime losing and stuff like that. The players, they play it safe. And we're like, dude, this is a win.
They're not taking E2 flares on the pie. It's like, yes, we want to live.
So like, I'll be honest though. I was thinking, okay, let me make sure I know what the strats are for speedrunning this content and everything else. I'm gonna go out and research these fights and kind of see how speedruns go and normally and how they do everything here. I'm like, wait a minute, they're doing a lot of safe stuff here. This isn't a speedrun at all. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, I guess, because for a second I thought in my head, like, you can't min-eye level current content. That doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, wait a minute, it is fucking min-eye level. So I felt pretty stupid. But
I think if everyone was in biz, you wouldn't have had any wipes.
Yeah.
Like, it just wouldn't have been possible for people to wipe in biz.
Oh, we
like,
would have.
Yeah, all right.
Mouse
Mouse Mac gamers maybe, but like I think if everybody was biz, it would have been, I don't know, it would have been less interesting, to be honest.
Yeah, it would be kind of boring to watch.
It's not really a challenge. It's not really fucking entertaining just to watch like 3 teams and then 1 team just like wheelchair over the finish line sort of thing.
I mean, the worst part was that like the hardest part of the event was Eden 2, because it was actually the hardest fight out of Eden 1 to 4. Like, Eden 2 was like, you have bad gear, you don't meet the DPS check with 2 deaths. You like have to play very safe because you can die very fast there. While in Eden 3 you have your Pentamelted for 50 gear, which is the same in Eden 4, so it was actually quite comfortable, but Eden 2 was like complete garbage.
Nah, you guys just had trash DPS. Yoshi had like 430 gear and we still easily made the E2 check.
I mean,
yeah, he was running 430 gear.
We had like 1 death, we had damage downs.
We found out after the event that he was in I-426 on E1 and 2.
Oh my god.
Also, a lot of people probably from Yasa didn't know, but since the patch dropped that day and there was a bug on Summoner, it was actually banned from the first round of the event. Like, we practiced Summoner, and Ari had to forcefully play Black Mage because it was banned because of the bug that was abusable. So yeah, that was also just a side thing that probably most people didn't know.
I gotta say, that was awesome that you guys didn't like make a fuss about it. You're like, okay, that makes sense. Let's go forward and just make it happen, because you can't predict that. The patch is being released, and then a bug comes out, and then you guys kind of just work with it and make the event as best as possible. That's awesome. You could have gone on Reddit and been like, or Twitter and be like, man, fuck all this shit. I can't play what I want to, so this is an invalid event. But no one did that. So
we're not all one fix like Riders, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna argue it, dude.
I mean, people did complain about it. Like, it was like, oh, we can't play someone else. Oh, what the fuck, sort of thing. But just sort of, it's like, well, whatever, deal with it, move on with your life.
I mean, for UCOP, we really wanted the Summoner. We didn't never practice with Black Mage. Like, we really wanted the Summoner there.
If we weren't allowed to take Summoner like on the finals day, I don't know if we would have even managed to like do what we did.
We wouldn't have recovered the pull we had because he raced healer, for example.
Yeah.
Well, none of your recoveries mattered for Uwu anyways, right?
For Uwu, it was.
Sorry.
Ouch, dude. What the fuck? I'm like, oh my god.
Dude, putting fucking salt into the wound.
Sorry.
0 point.
Hell, dude. Fucking hell.
But yeah, okay. Going back to the nervous part of all this stuff. So I mean, when you guys are on stage and you're dying, I mean, it wasn't a big deal because I guess you guys maybe you didn't feel like the stakes were really that huge. It was just like I'm on stage and having fun, right?
I mean, I feel like there was. I don't know. I personally felt there was like a little bit of pressure, just like knowing that there's people in the crowd watching me. There's people that I know, like friends of mine that are probably watching me. Fucking work colleagues might be watching me.
Okay.
I don't want to fuck this up on stage, sort of thing, because someone might notice it, clip it, and it'd be the new meme for like the next 2 months or something like that. So it was like there was a bit of pressure there, but in terms of the pressure about the event, like, oh my god, got to win that monitor. Like, no, it wasn't there at all.
Right.
I mean, I died in E2 due to like a really stupid mistake where I just walked out too early of that one mechanic, right?
I'm sorry, that was hilarious when I saw that, dude. That was good.
Yeah, it was whatever, but I knew immediately that this wouldn't cost us the run. Like I was that didn't like get me nervous or anything or shaking. I knew just one death from a fucking bard will not matter on this turn. So I didn't like get nervous or anything.
And it was just really a server tick thing, right? Because no one else died but you, and that was the whatever you call it.
I don't know why. I just moved out too early. Like I legitimately was like ready to get into my place for next mechanic, and I just moved off too early. And it was lucky it was a tank because I was stacking with Yaze, who was a tank who didn't die from the dot he got.
Oh, I thought he didn't even get hit. I guess maybe.
Nah, he did.
Okay.
I think he did. Yeah, but tanks don't die.
Yeah.
If it would have been a healer, it would have been way worse because the healer would have died too, so it would have had to recover that. But since it was a tank, it literally didn't matter in the end.
Oh man. But yeah, that was actually kind of fun because trying to catch all these little things and talk about it. And I think day 2, I was a little bit more. I had a better idea about what to actually talk about. Day 1 was a little bit goofy, but I could see. I saw a lot of like they would show your camera. You guys knew they were showing your camera on stage, right?
Yeah.
we didn't know who was on when.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
we
you
had
had
to
people
watch the
just
screen.
like fucking posing at the camera and just not being shown and just wasting the time, like finger gunning at the camera or whatever. And other times you had people just like fucking Lenny face putting on some boomer sunglasses.
They didn't show that. I'm so unhappy.
Like it was just like nothing for a while, and it snapped back to Lenny, and just like after the transition, he just magically gained some sunglasses for the rest of the time.
Let's talk about this fucking angle, dude. I had a fucking triple chin on that. It made me look so fucking fat. All right, I'm fat. I'm not that fat, dude.
See, but on the first day, they had like cameras on top of the screens, right? It was just us that had the bottom left fucking angle.
I think Sham really enjoyed this camera at the start.
Oh my god!
Mine actually kept falling off the fucking screen, and every single time there was a guy coming and putting it back, and it would fall again. And even when they actually took them off the screen and put them on the fucking table, it kept falling.
Yeah, I think Fox's
I
camera.
literally threw it away.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, Fox's camera was like mostly his hand. I think the way it was angled.
Mate.
Yeah.
Fox's camera when he was playing Bard was just like nothing.
I was
Nothing
playing
else.
Host on the second screen, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really can't complain about the camera angle. I think it was really favorable for me. My face like so far back that you can't see it, and the gameplay was the priority.
I mean, they refused to show you on the second day that we did Milka, and I wonder fucking why.
Sat there, one hand under his own.
Who was it? Who
Also,
was it that shake the camera constantly, like shake their in-game camera?
That was
Fucking
Mini done, right?
Mini.
Mini.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Something
can I
else.
just?
Fucking.
I need to clarify something.
Sure.
There were people saying that Ariel was showing a selling shell. That's not true. It was not a selling shell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like that was just being said, but it was not.
Okay. It was because the thing was like a lot of layout placement. It was all what you guys wanted on your screen, and so the chats were there, and I think that was something that needs to be fixed. The chat should probably be completely turned off for the event.
Yes.
We needed it.
But then we would be able to coordinate.
Especially for Ultimate.
You
we
type
needed it
out-
because we had, since we couldn't call out really well the jails, and we had of course no ACT plugins or anything like that.
Right.
We used a macro and to say our number for our positions. So we clicked the macro when the jails appeared, and then we would accordingly move to our positions.
Okay.
So we needed the chat for ourselves, basically. There.
I mean, Fox, you didn't necessarily have a macro to paste one number. You had a macro to paste about 10 lines of number. So that if anything, right, this is what happened on stage, though, right? His fucking macro is like eight fucking sixes. It's with a space in between, so it's like maximum space, right? Some of us didn't have our chat boxes fully extended. So what happens is 3 people paste their number in, and then you've just got Fox for like 10 fucking lines. So you just have to guess what the other numbers were.
Hey, it still worked out, dude.
It worked out.
Actually fucking griefing your own group, Fox.
Literally on stage, griefing the group with fucking 10 lines of macros, just 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Fucking high-eyed Fox.
Dude, I griefed Errol with my smell, man. Holy shit, man.
Oh no.
I was nervous smell, dude. Oof.
There was no deodorant,
Poor
or just
guy.
like you bleed through it?
There was nothing there, so he had to. Yeah,
Oh,
I feel
God,
sorry
man.
for him. I told him, I'm sorry, dude.
Ash, hang on, I have a question for Ashu. Were you like jerking off or something during the
Oh my god.
Like you were just like bouncing.
He was
all
bouncing the entire time, dude.
It was just the entire time. Anytime it swaps to Ashu's tab, just like fucking
He's just
bouncing.
bopping, dude.
Yeah. He's having
I
a
didn't
great
do this during the final, dude.
Yeah,
I
like-
contained myself.
I'm very sure the hardest part for Ashi was not bobbing at the last turn.
Dude, is it like you're just bouncing your leg, right? Because I do that all the
Yeah,
fucking
yeah. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I
to
didn't
see.
expect it to be like you know like that.
No, you're like leaning forward a little bit, and I think your left arm wasn't quite visible on the camera, so everybody watching it was just like, "What is he doing? Is he just really enjoy Dark Knight? Like, what is that?"
I mean, the best one was definitely Nivea. Like, it only
Oh,
looked like she was just sitting there
was
and
dead
not doing
inside,
anything.
Just every controller player just looked like they were fucking like a boar, just waiting for a train or something.
Oh god. Like yeah, and there's a couple they did catch a couple of good moments, like people putting their hands up like what the fuck. A few of those. I can't remember when they were, but
Yeah, Styx got pretty famous from that.
oh yeah.
Styx has got a couple of
He has a good
emotes
emote.
made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an emote that I made. Yeah.
Oh, you made the emote.
No, I just remade it.
But I'm glad the cameras didn't throw you guys off too much and you guys had fun with it. I mean, it's very risky to let players kind of let their own characters be on the computers with their own setup and everything else. I don't think we'd see that like at an official fan fest.
What?
Mr. changing his name from
Oh yeah, I
White-
changed my name on stage. It was great.
White Boy into Mousepad Games.
I mean, I felt bad for Frosty because he had to call out White Boy. Like that can't be comfortable. So I was like, you know what? I'll change my name on stage. I'll swap to Mousepad Gamers.
Hey,
You spent so long trying to convince me to change my fucking in-game name to Notre Dame Press F.
He wouldn't do it.
Oh, it wasn't gonna happen, dude.
Why not?
I'm going to a Paris Games Week.
Yeah, Notre Dame, press F, dude.
Pretty sure one of the best camera moments were during our Yuva run, while Asher had to do the Tangle Bee.
Oh my god. When you were changing your name, I was like, all right, I'm going to pick part of this name that I can say and not feel stupid, right? And so I would say mouse. I wouldn't say mouse pad. I would say mouse, or I'd say white, or I'd say, I would just say boy. I wouldn't say the whole thing because I was like, if I could just keep it simple, it wouldn't be as awkward. And it worked out.
You pretty often said, "Oh no, mousepad is down."
Oh, that's true.
He never said that. Fuck off.
Oh, jeez. Okay, but no, you guys didn't troll too much, and I appreciate that.
There's a good clip of Milka right now in the chat, in the Twitch chat.
Oh yeah, that clip is
exciting black mage.
Oh, because he's just sitting there tapping it. Yeah.
The fucking
So
one-handed
fucking good.
gamer.
All right.
Pete
All right.
Black Mage.
Do you guys should it always be something like this where you guys are on stage and they got cameras on you and maybe give you guys some liberty? I mean, the thing is, you guys didn't do anything like really bad. Like you weren't out there saying like free Hong Kong or anything, right? So
There were so many memes in our group about that.
You guys,
I think personally, how I took this event, I took this as a very big opportunity for the Final Fantasy PvE community to become bigger, to have a light on it, and maybe also have other professional teams look at this game as maybe some form of competitive game in a way. So I wasn't gonna go there and take the only chance we ever got from the Final Fantasy 14 community and fuck it up. Like,
Same.
I think that would have just been really bad and would have thrown a really bad light on the community. But instead, we got a super great event, and that turned out with a really exciting final. And yeah, so that was why I think that no trolling and not being an idiot was really important for this, honestly.
Mature gamers, dude. It's the best. But I think on my end, I could probably solo cast this again, but I would like to have someone else there, just kind of talking to me. Did you guys watch all the VODs?
Yeah, we watched
everyone.
We made it like a
Okay.
tradition. After we played, we would go back to the hotel and watch the VOD of our own gameplay just to hear your comments.
Oh God! All right, so I'm gonna do this. This is kind of self-centered here, but I'm gonna have you guys give me some reviews here. First, give me the good stuff, or maybe it's the bad stuff. I don't know. Day 4, kind of just calling out those ultimate mechanics and everything. Being, gamers yourself, we're all gamers here. But ultimate guys, you know the mechanics better. Did it seem even remotely interesting?
Yeah, I mean, you were calling.
Okay, you struggled a little bit, so that means
mostly.
No, so basically the problem is that you can't explain mechanics to someone that doesn't even know the game, right? There were lots of videos that don't even know the game, and trying to explain the mechanics to someone that doesn't even know how the game works is useless. I think personally you could have opted more for a hype thing, or like just like I don't know, like talking more about the event, because like at the end I rewatched the final, of course, when we failed it at 0.9%. I felt like it could have been a bit more hype there, honestly. That was something I personally felt, but I think overall you did, for being a solo caster, which is really rough on these kind of things, you did really well, honestly. And it was just that it's hard to cater to a community that has a lot of experienced players who all know the mechanics, and at the same time to people that literally have never seen this game in their life. Because even explaining, they have to take the towers, for example, does not mean anything for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what it felt like. It was like, how do I make this? All right, they see stuff on the screen. Visually, this is what's happening. Maybe I can explain a little bit about visually what's going on. But it's weird. I'm going to have to think about it a lot more. But it was straight talking for basically that entire time.
I think you did a very good job, Frosty. Like, don't sell yourself short. You still managed to like solo cast for like 12 hours straight combined over 4 days. Like, literally the only negative thing is that you were on your own, and you should have had someone else there just for like synergy, if nothing else. Have a conversation with somebody that was maybe more experienced in the ultimate side of things necessarily, or anything else that you can just like shoot ideas off and conversation with each other.
Right.
Like, literally just another person being there was all that you needed. You did fine on your own, dude.
Oh, thanks, dude. I will say on the 3rd day, I was like, all right, I'm just going to be quiet for a little bit. I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna shut up for a bit.
Honestly, at that point, you should have been like, they should rep one of their players with me. I'll do a better job. Look at this guy. He's terrible. Like that.
Who are you talking about, Dance?
Probably Yoshi.
I don't know what you mean. I wasn't playing on that day.
Honestly, the day commentary of our gameplay was mostly just 2 sentences, namely being, "Oh no, Yoshi is down." I mean, "Oh no, how will they make the DPS check with so many?"
But I mean, I was like, all right, how can I make this appealing? Who am I selling this to? And I assume I'm just selling it to the people who are like dedicated enough to actually come in and watch it in the community. So I was trying to do it for people who are in the community, really, because that's all. Who's going to show up for this on the stream, right? Are people going to tune in and be like, oh well, this is Solary, a French gaming company. I'm going to go watch it on the French channel, right? Then who's going to come to the English side of it? People who know what's going on with the event, people who may be familiar with the content. And so that's kind of what I was aiming for, but I don't know.
I mean, I would have also had a very hard time casting the 3rd place game, to be honest. Like, it just was a shit show after a while, and
There was not much to cast, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, poor Yoshi. Anyways, on I think the first day was me kind of getting familiar with it. The second day, I felt a little bit better about it overall. But because I had things to compare to. I mean, that's the other thing, right? You were talking about, Fox, that you could see all the other teams play before you went on, so you knew what you had to beat, right? The other teams were like, I'm just going to do my best, and I'm going to set these goalposts for the teams after me. So does that feel like maybe the last team has an unfair advantage in some way? Because they say, all right, well, we could be a little bit more cautious here, or we could do something else.
I think it's more of like a less stress type thing. Like, you know where you have to beat to get where you want to be, rather than just do as best as you could. Because for all the team going first, they could have one shot everything, and then all the three teams the three teams after them could have also just one shot everything, but beaten them in DPS and beaten it faster than them. Like they would have had no idea what to expect from the other teams. So I think going last is a lot more relaxing, because you don't have to have that pressure of, oh my god, what if we do amazingly, but then everybody else does even better than us? Like what happens then? It's like we know what we have
I
to
disagree
beat
with
now.
you completely. I actually completely disagree with you, Dance. When I saw Ensemble one-shot UCOP, I had pressure, dude. Like when they literally go in there, they one-shot the UCOP, man, that's when you put fucking pressure on someone. If I go on stage and I don't know what anyone does, I just play. There's no pressure, nothing. You just go on stage, you do your best. But if you know a different team has literally like nearly one-shot all of Eden's Gate, they have finished the, like, if now, let's say, for example, Solary would have also cleared Shinryu or something, you go in there knowing you have to clear everything to qualify for the final, right? And then having both ultimates cleared on stage, you have to beat both, and not in 1.5 hours, but within 15 minutes. So I think going later actually puts more pressure on you, but at the same time, you know what you have to do. Now, if all three teams before you suck dicks and they don't clear anything, then yes, you go in with a very relaxed mindset. But in our case,
I was specifically referring to like the first round rather than the second round, because the first round was against 3 other teams. The second round was just a 1v1 basically. So when you're talking of like setting up pressure and stuff for the qualifying rounds, then it's much better to go last.
To be fair,
probably really depends on the performance of the teams going before you. Like, if all of them play out of their minds, then you have insane pressure, like Fox said.
Obviously, yeah.
I mean, personally, I had pressure because of Mental Boom, because I expect them to like one-shot Yuko, one-shot Yuvu. And like when we one-shotted Yuko, I was really fucking happy. Like I was more happy than on my first clear. Like,
dude, we're already shaking after one-shotting Yuko. Like our life was
all
finished.
screaming, like as if we would have won the tournament, basically.
Yeah.
And then we went into Yuvu, skipped the Ifrit dive, and we started screaming again because we never did it. It was like not on purpose.
I was sat in the crowd, like thinking that have I just like gotten like suddenly retarded or something in the past 2 minutes? Like, how the hell did they just manage to skip that section of Ifrit? Like, your DPS in Ifrit was unreal.
I mean, we could have skipped it.
Yeah,
we could have skipped Nail Dive as well, but someone died during the Doom,
Alice died, yeah.
Sorry to disappoint you, but to skip Nail Dives, you pretty much have to kill Nail right after the Raven's Peak cast, and not
Alice died at the very start of the Nail, so we had weakness for the full Nail fight, so I believe we will actually kill it.
And he was at I think 3% or so. The Raven's Peak.
For the expansion, we actually tried speedrunning UCup and used LB3 on Nail and everything, and we literally couldn't skip the dive.
Classes have been buffed, Milka.
Like Gunbreaker is literally.
Yeah, you have Gunbreaker now.
Gunbreaker does DPS levels. Dancer is buffed as hell in lower content.
Dragoon got buffed as well.
Everything does more damage.
And we had Summoner as well. Summoner was really buffed as well at this point.
Yeah, so. Actually, Summoner does less DPS now.
At level 70, yeah.
Summoner does a lot more now.
Yeah, here's the big meme. Samurai got nerfed at level 70, and Tatsu was incredibly confident that the DPS check on Uwu would have been cleared if he had old Samurai rather than new Samurai, because of how much potency was lost due to the level 80 change.
I mean, that's a good thing to talk about. right? Because
Like
all these changes happened right before the event. Did you guys plan for that? Like plan for like what was on paper and how to really play? Like what team what we had to actually play going into it?
Like regarding Chaya or Summoner, like what I told him at least was that he should like look up Summoner guides and after he get the rework, and then the shit with the bug regarding Ifrit's crush happened and we couldn't play it basically, so people had more time to actually learn it.
So I mean, I didn't think about this either. You guys really needed to focus on the changes and how they affect level 70 versions of these jobs, not level 80 versions of these jobs. And now that you mentioned that too, that would have to be extremely complicated to figure out before the event.
It would have been, yeah. Most of us, I think most everybody was just like, "Sod it, we'll just play what we know. We don't have time to practice because like we don't literally have zero time to practice because the patch went live like on the first day or something like that. So it was like you just go in you go. Like I think Tatsu yoinked my laptop for about 4 hours to do the
24-man raid, yeah.
In the hotel lobby.
In the hotel lobby, practice new samurai. It's like he has to borrow it to change some gear sets, and I like dip away, come back 2 hours later, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm in the 24 man." It's like, "All right, okay." Thanks for asking before doing that, but all right.
Was he doing the main story quest too? Kind of just going through
it? He was just doing everything, dude. He was just like, he got like, I think that man's literally like got withdrawal symptoms if he doesn't play the game because he was getting really tetchy and like asking me, "Can I use your laptop? Can I use your laptop?" Like every other day, and I'm like, "Yeah, all right, go on, there you go."
Tatsu is really the kind of guy to do log runs while everyone else is out partying, even if he's on vacation.
He's not on our Eiffel Top because he was watching anime.
Yeah, he's in the fucking chat. He was sat in the corner of the lobby doing the 24-man raid, like the music volume absolutely blasting out, and everybody in the lobby's like, "Spoilers! Stop! Spoilers! Come on, stop! We've not done it yet!" And he's like, "I'll turn it down. And I'm like slamming the volume down on the laptop. And we get to the final boss. He's like, "Turn it up, turn it up." I'm like, "Okay, turn it up." And then Tax on the other side of the lobby's like, "Oh my god, this song! Oh!
Dude, this song is so fucking good."
You were just like hearing it, like, "Oh my god, this song!"
Oh, jeez. All right. Sorry, I lost myself on where I was. My talking points here. Let me see if I can catch myself again here. All right, so the event happened. You guys want to see it happen again. You're not so nervous about it. You'd be fine going on stage and doing it again. And Solary treated you guys fairly well overall, right?
Yeah, really well.
Dude, on the first night, Theo was like a champ on the first night. He was opening all of our beer bottles and shit because there were no like bottle openers anywhere in that hotel. What a champ, dude!
That to be in the lobby for like the full day waiting for all of us to come, like.
Yeah, that was really
like keep
really
track of the problem with the Uber and stuff and all that shit. Like going on.
Yeah, I actually can tell about that. Like when I arrived,
one
like,
off-topic
the
thing.
Uber didn't like work for me.
Yeah,
and then I just called Theo to get me like another code or something, and like we tried 3 codes and no one worked for me. So then he was just like, "Yeah, just take a taxi and we will refund you the money."
Okay.
120 euro taxi, by the way.
That is a 150 euro taxi. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was hard.
Dude, the Ubers that got comped was so like 80 euros to and from the airport was the cost of the Uber that we were getting.
Yeah.
So like for 32 people, let's say roughly 4 people per Uber, like ridiculously expensive.
All right, so they're opening beer bottles for you and everything, and then they're trying to take care of you guys going on stage. And where were you? Where was most of the teams? Were you guys all just in a lobby while one team was on the stage?
So the stage itself, obviously there was the chairs on the stage. There were 2 little back rooms, like on the back of the stage. It was about probably not huge, but there was like a hangout room with like a fridge and enough space to just put your coats and bags and shit. And then there was the techie room, which just seemed to be quite a cramped space for the streaming tech guys, and that was kind of it. We had the door into the tech room was on one side of the stage. The door into the backstage room with the door to the stage was on the other side. The backstage room was really cramped, to be honest. Like, we didn't spend a lot of time in there. Literally went in there, dropped our bags, grabbed a drink, went away, because there was a couch.
Mm-hmm.
2 couches, a couple of chairs, and a table with like coffee and stuff on it. That was pretty much all that could fit in there. So I think
was just meant for us to hang out there. It was just like a backstage to put our things there.
Yeah.
And we had a fridge there with water and Red Bull. I mean, overall, again, I just think this organization was really well. They were all super nice with us, like so nice, really. And they were just, I'm very impressed by it. And I have no bad memories of Solary or anyone that organizes the event for us at all.
Yeah, they were lovely people.
I can totally agree.
Again.
Yeah,
100%.
Go ahead.
Like, one off-topic thing.
Sure.
Lullaby. Happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday,
Yes, big boy has birthday.
Big boy.
Didn't come on the show for his birthday. That's all right. But no, like I was, God, what was the thing? You guys all went out to dinner afterwards too. You had the big kind of like wrap up dinner after everything was done.
Most of us did. Tax didn't.
Oh boy, please don't remind me of that shit.
Steaks
Okay?
were so good.
What did you order, Tax?
Like basically, I ordered a steak, and on my fucking like on the plate there was an animal alive, basically.
The steaks were nearly as red as we thought.
I told them I
To be
want to
fair, they were a little bit quick on cooking the meat, which isn't actually an issue with some steaks, but I think Fox's basically came out blue. Mine was actually cooked to perfection. I had no issues with mine. I think it was because I ordered something like different from like the chef's specialty menu, so the guy like came out afterwards and made sure I was enjoying it, sort of thing as well, which was nice.
Dude, our table was like a shambles for many reasons. One, Tax didn't get his food until like 15 minutes in, and even then, like, he didn't like it. And 2, Nivea ended up eating Issa's food, and then Issa was hungry, so Nivea cut up some food for Issa. There was some confusion.
I like how we're reviewing a restaurant right now.
That's on the restaurant, yeah. It was fun. We hung out like after the food. Damn, I'm talking, bro. After the food, basically, we were like all like a lot of people just hung out like in front of the restaurant, even though it was closed for like another hour or 1.5, and we just talked there. Specifically, also a lot to Yoshi and to the organizers of the event, and we just took the last evening really and tried to make it as long as possible, because we all knew it was the last evening, and we were like, I mean, I can talk for myself only when I say I was already sad. Like, we went even afterwards, we went still out until like 3 o'clock. We really tried to extend it as long as possible to just enjoy that we were able to meet our static members that we have, some of them have never seen before, and just have a really good time together, which is really why I enjoyed this event so much, mostly because I got to meet so many people that I never seen before.
Did you guys cry on the last day? Were you a little teary-eyed?
I shed it.
Some of us were a bit teary,
yeah. We were really like sad to leave. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I think that's always the thing. It's always like that the post-con sadness of where you meet people that you only really know online, and you would meet them in person, and because you know them already online, it's like you really easily make like firm, strong bonds with these people, and then you just have to sort of leave them behind, and you might never see these people again. So it's very sad.
Yeah, I mean, like, after the show, you'll probably never talk to him again, right? You guys like in passing, hey, what's up? But you won't talk to these guys again.
Dude, who the hell is Dance?
Who's that guy? Dude?
I mean, you're static, dude. What the?
Are you?
No.
Unlucky then.
All right. So Solary did well, and the organization, everything went pretty well. The stage, I'm trying to think of the other points we didn't really hit too much before going into the world race part, which I don't, honestly, I want to ask you, how many are you actually? All right, I gotta say this right now, man. It's not. I don't want to call it a world race anymore, dude. It's literally just
no. I mean, you can call it the world race because it is a world race. It's whoever can kill the fight first is recorded as first place on that race. Just like I saw the tweet like earlier, dude. And I agree with you. Like, just because someone doesn't necessarily want to say, "Hey, I'm racing this content," doesn't mean that they're gonna want to clear it quickly. So they might as well get recorded on your spreadsheet. Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, that's
like if someone gets salty for having their name put on a public spreadsheet when they're publicly saying they're going to do this content publicly on Twitch and all that sort of shit, then that's their own problem.
I want to say this real quick. That's not even drama. That's just me giving Art this shit for giving me shit. Like memeing me with analogy, then I memed him back with the analogy. That's all that was. But
like me and Dance aren't competing. We're doing like hardcore hours on like week 1, but we thought we might as well put our name on the sheet as well. Like,
yeah,
that's why not, dude. If
you stream it
officially,
no progression, people will see when you clear it.
Right.
It's just like if you didn't do it like Entropy for like when they do shit, don't stream it, don't go to social media, don't post when you clear it, and then be afterwards like, oh, we cleared before you, but we don't have any proof, by the way. So I don't know, man. Like this is just honestly like a stupid argument overall, and I think like what you keep doing, honestly, as being the only person basically that brought this up and does this is really cool, because my group competed the first time in Eden's Gate. And it was actually exciting for once to like, we didn't really race, but it was exciting to see our name on the sheet filled in and be like going up there sometimes. It was pretty cool. And I think what you do is really cool, and just keep that going, and like
I appreciate that, dude.
Whatever's going on, just like, ignore.
Yeah. So I guess we can transition into the world race stuff now, because this is a good point to start talking about it. I think overall, the world race to me has always been, hey, I just want people to have information to know, hey, you cleared it. This person cleared it then. This person cleared it then. They may have not been racing each other, but they were trying to clear it as fast as they could. And it's interesting to see how fast these guys are clearing it. And so that means a lot to me, Fox. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. I like the statistics of like how fast every tier has been cleared, the comparisons and stuff like that. That's really interesting always to see. I'm not gonna lie, like to just have like the first tier always really fast and stuff like that. And we wouldn't have that without you. So
I totally agree with you.
Oh, that's gonna make me feel
I don't think there's ever actually a negative thing to say about the world race spreadsheet and the world race and like the way you record it.
It kind of can breed toxicity. Like we had the issue where one group cleared 1 minute before us, and then instantly went to our Discord and started shit talking us for being so.
I mean really? that's not necessarily a problem inherently caused by the world race spreadsheet, though. That's just people being shitty.
Yeah,
that's going to happen regardless of if there's the
Why
information.
You take it personal, man? Oh my god! Imagine being so having.
Imagine people being upset about being on a lawn or something, dude.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Oof.
Oh, it's so long. It's just funny to bring that up every once in a while.
I'll blacklist you, dude. Don't get me started.
But no, I think it's sad to see that it causes some sort of pressure for people, and they're a little bit stressed out of it. But in the end, all I could think about is if this information's public, then that's all. It's there. I mean, if you don't want people to like give you that pressure, then you just hide, right? Just don't post anything. And after, usually how this world race goes is I record all this stuff, but then there's a point where I'm like, there's people clearing it, and there's no way I'm gonna find out. And then I'm like, okay, this is where I stop putting the names on the sheet. I'm like, it gets kind of jumbled up because I want it to be as accurate as possible overall. So the first handful of clears, people who are clearing it that fast usually are gonna say something.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, initially, like with how far like up you go in the rankings with it, you do like 50s and even higher than that. It's like I would say like you don't even need to record that. Just like at like 30 you can stop, because after that groups aren't actually competing anymore.
I disagree.
Like not even after.
Fine, dude. Like 50 and world, that's totally fine to still note it down, I think. Like, I mean, I know you guys didn't want to be noted down this tier, but I think like other groups that are just like still going hardcore, but they might not be as good yet because it's like a first time or something, they still want to see their name maybe on that sheet just to feel accomplished for something, right?
Right.
And can I ask you something, Frosty? How do you feel about Kira introducing the speed rankings? Because she did an update where you can upload a whatever fake ACT log or like a broken ACT log, and it will still record your time.
Will it?
No. Yeah.
So like if you have a broken ACT log, it will still. Oh well, you mean like what time you cleared it, or how fast you're clearing it?
No, at what time you cleared it. There's actually speed.
Oh yeah. He did that. He did that last tier. He started doing that.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, hey, if he's doing that, does it matter what if I even keep this up? But in the end, a lot. So for the tiers that are released on patch day, ACT's broken a lot of the time, and it doesn't really. Sometimes you can get it going properly, sometimes you can't, but it's a risk, right? So maybe something will go on. The other part of that is it's not really. It's not tracking it as actively, I guess, and you're going through and you're looking for tweets, and some people don't want to post their ACT logs because if they post it, they're giving another team an advantage in some way. And so there's this whole mix of like, even if that was the only way to do it, there would still be a lot of information that would be lost just by trying to record it the way I'm doing it, which is, again, me working on a semi-honor system of following people and seeing when they clear and trying to make sure everything, do my own little personal checks and balances and everything. But I don't think, even if the logs were working perfectly fine, there's some people who just don't do it. Like in the last tier, there was a couple of JP teams that posted they cleared, but they're not really big in the scene with rating and everything else. And so that stuff's not loaded on ACT or loaded on FF logs. But I know they cleared, and I have good faith that these teams actually cleared it legitimately. They just don't upload their log. So to me, I'm happy he's doing it because there's a lot of teams out there that I can actually see clear it that I wouldn't have known otherwise. But it's not like the end all be all. I guess that's my only opinion on it.
All right, cool. Just was just curious about it.
Yeah, because in the end, if someone did come out with a solution and as soon as you cleared it, it was sent from some API into like a site, and I was completely unnecessary for tracking this stuff, I'd probably be okay because then I just sleep. Right? Then I just
good, yeah.
I think the issue with that is that like it's probably unlikely, but it could be that like some of the JP teams don't even use ACT. So I know they some of them have like a weird honor thing about ACT and FF logs and all that sort of stuff. So it could be
They use
that.
a lot, dude. Don't you remember this Ultra Scouter thing which came out where you click on a character and it literally shows you the FF logs in game, like with the tool? Like
I remember
the
that.
JP people are super crazy about these add-ons. That they most pretend there's like they're all clean, no ACTs, nothing. But in the end, they're always those things always come from there every time.
And I think it's a mixed bag, to be honest. Anyone that's in like the world race or they're competing pretty quickly, they all have ACT or something in some fashion, whether they're JP, EU, NA, but they may not be uploading I think that might be the thing. They may not just upload the FF logs. Because I don't think all JP teams follow FF logs, although a lot of them have, and they are, but I don't know if, maybe I'm wrong too, maybe I'm saying this with a lot of ignorance, but I don't think they pay attention to it as much.
You mean as in the world race or in general?
In general, FF logs in general.
Oh, no. In general, there's lots of JP, like especially in the padding department, JP players have always been very high up there, padding the shit out of themselves. Certain
fucking
groups,
JP black mates.
really, like if you look at JP logs or NA, they're always like the insane padders are from those regions mostly. And now with the changes on ACT, actually on FF logs, you see it less because it's way harder to pad and stuff like that. So, but they are very big on FF logs actually.
You know, and now that I'm actually thinking about it, for Ultimate at least, there's absolutely no reason why those first handful of logs are not going to show up on FF logs. They will show up there. I just don't know how soon they will, right? And so if the world first team like Entropy or one of the Elysium, well, there's a couple of half Elysium, half other teams going right now. If any of these teams go out there and they get it first, they may just hold on to their log until some other teams clear it, because that's what they did with videos, and they kind of did it with videos and everything else.
I think that's a code in between teams.
Yeah.
Go.
Like back in U Cup, there was like the first JP team that cleared. They also didn't show their logs because of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they waited and posted it like I think 1 week after. So after people started clearing.
Yeah, I think it's mostly like a coding between I'm not competing, but I think it's like that you just don't upload anything or show videos because it would in some way invalidate people that clear after you because they could say, yo, you probably checked the video. But if you don't upload anything, there is no way for you to check a video or a log. Yeah. So I think it's out of respect for the teams where you don't do it.
That's like a boomer thing that I remember from like Midas, where it was like 5 clears before anyone released a video.
Boomer thing. Yeah.
Okay, boomer.
Okay, boomer.
I mean, if you played after Creator, you're a zoomer, dude. Like, come on.
Do you guys even know who mental boomers are, by the way, or is it just some?
The Roxa Class group.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
a shout out. That group is not Mental Boom. That's a European group, and there's a group named Mental Boomers, which is not us, and we're not competing in the race.
I'm sure it won't cause any confusion.
Yeah, definitely not.
Hello, Mental Boomers.
Yeah.
I guess in the end, I will never be out of a job of tracking this information if people are still doing this stuff where they're holding back some stuff and they're only posting screenshots and stuff and trying to keep it at least somewhat valid for some of the other teams. There'll always be a place to kind of record all this stuff. And it's actually kind of nice, too, to have FFlogs record that information afterwards, because I can go back and double check, oh, did I miss it by a minute, or did I misinterpret this hour, or did something else, and I can go back and correct some of the things that I did too, if there are any kind of issues. So it's good. I don't hate him. I don't want to kill him. I don't want to. I'm nothing bad.
Whoa.
But this race is going to be kind of interesting to see. Next race, I was thinking I might try to take off some work for those days and do kind of a ninth man streaming thing on it. Since it's only like usually 24 hours, I could throw up a stream and just kind of track it in real time. But we'll see how that goes.
I mean, the thing is that Entropy isn't streaming is kind of sad because you could have had different POVs up from all the groups that are racing and that are ahead, which would make it actually for a really interesting show to watch if you have because normally the Savage raids are like 24 hours. So you could actually pull that off. But sadly, they're not streaming because of,
Well, if they want to win, they don't stream. That's usually what it is.
Basically.
Yeah.
So
the other part, I mean, I could always just focus on whoever's ahead most on streams. And there has to be a weird way of making that work, because also the World Race is a huge time for people who do stream. Because there's a lot of extra views they're going to get. A lot of extra people come in, will sub, and all that other stuff. So I don't want to re-stream their stream, but I could find some way to manage that to make it worth going to see their stream as well. So if someone wants to actually actively watch it, they could go to their stream and see all the details. But that's next tier, because I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to take off 2 weeks of work to try to shoutcast something I can't really see too well. And just minor updates every once in a while. But so again, you guys are. I want to ask Fox. You're not competing, but how many hours are you guys putting in that first week?
Oh, for Ultimate, we're actually doing a semi-hardcore schedule because a lot of our people are actually they have normal work hours or go to school, and they took nowadays off for the Paris event. So they can't afford to take days off now for the upcoming Ultimate, which is totally fine. And we're just going to be doing 5 to 6 hours a day, maybe. Actually just the schedule after work hours to when they have to go to sleep, basically. Okay. So no competing at all here. And because I think dedicating also for 2 weeks to a really hardcore schedule of 16 hours a day or something is lots of commitment, to be honest. Lots of commitment. And it's also takes a toll on you, and not only mentally, but also physically probably. So, I mean, we did the first time hardcore on Eden Skate, which was a really nice experience for us. We had all fun. It was 1.5 days. But going from that immediately to an ultimate hardcore, that's quite rough. So we're saying no to hardcore here and just doing a really soft schedule.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people talk about this one being this is the one everyone's looking forward to and everything else. But this is really a long distance race versus the quick sprint from the previous tier, which I think both have places where teams would rather do a sprint versus doing weeks of off work and trying to go through and clear that, because you really limit the pool of people who can compete when it takes 5 to 10 days to clear, right?
Yeah, that's just going to be way less teams to even compete in this, because lots of people don't want to commit to time or can't commit to time. So your amount of teams is much lower, and the amount of reward you get right now from being world first, besides probably bragging rights or being mentioned on a official Final Fantasy 14 stream, and the carbuncle being mentioned, there is not really a lot you get out of winning this.
No.
If this would be maybe a actual sponsored, like big sponsored event, and would like attract a lot of viewership on Twitch and everywhere else, and have otherwise sponsors, I could see this actually shift way more of people preparing way better for this thing, and like more teams competing. But since there's no reward, why really bother besides for like an actual, bragging right by saying world first,
Well, you need gaming companies to sponsor this stuff too, because you got to think about this, and I'm just imagining, I don't really know, I'm speaking out my ass sort of. Square Enix, if they were to sponsor something like this and then like the servers went down, but just the EU servers, right? Or like the one data center went down, then it's all fucked up. Because if you make anything really official about it, then there's actually technical issues you can't control. How do you reward people afterwards? You're like, oh, well, they only lost because of technical issues, not their fault, and everything else. They still deserve a reward because overall their time was shorter. But what do you do, right?
That's a good point, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how I would handle this.
Yeah, the only way that I could see that there's actually really official sponsored Square Enix competitive PvE events is if it's everybody's on the same internet connection, I guess, or everybody's on the same data center. So, I mean, you could technically say, all right, let's do a world race and then look at each data center and see who wins first in those data centers. Maybe that could work because anything that bad happened, it would all happen to that one data center, right?
I mean, I agree with you. Probably a per data center world race, or maybe what I think what should have been implemented a long time ago is a maybe per server or per data center title you get as a reward for being the first to clear. There's literally no reward whatsoever from Square Enix to clear this, which is really, really bad, actually. Like, it just doesn't give the players the motivation to strive to actually dedicate time to do this. Yeah. And which is also why it's by a lot of people being frowned upon. Like, who the fuck would dedicate 16 hours a day for 2 weeks to do this? They're fucking mentally insane, right? Because there's nothing to gain out of it. Right. Not even a title, not an in-game item. There's nothing at all, which is really sad. And I hope that maybe with this Time Attack event, we can shift the focus on this more and have more events or more rewards for teams that want to compete and stuff like that. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, in this game, I really enjoy how literally 0.1% of people are doing PvP, yet PvP gets all the exclusive rewards, insane mounts, insane gear, the best glamour you can find, and then PvE, which 50% of the community does, gets fuck all.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's true.
I mean, to be fair, it's also like kind of harder to give proper PvE prizes than PvP. Yes, it is.
No, just have
how does it
with Square Enix. He makes the official world race, and from there on, Square Enix gives out the rewards. End of story. Like,
I wish it would be like that. But in PvP, you have like your top 100, and like how do you want to do it in PvE? Like properly in a proper format, where not like 100 groups get the prize, for example.
First per data center or first per server.
Yeah, not per server, because servers are all mixed together.
So basically, first, like the group which kills it the first on the server.
Yeah, something like that. The first group of each server that is currently, since the cross-world data center, you'd have, let's say, you register, okay, we're playing on X server, we're competing on this server. Officially register it at Square Enix, basically, or give the information to Frosty. He would give it to Square Enix. And then they just trust Frosty to handle this by himself, like he has done for the past few races now. And then from there on, just hand out rewards to the accounts that were competing in the world race, or like just the first of every server for like a small title, just anything at all, or an item, a glamour, whatever it could be. Instead of literally nothing but a small shout out of a carbuncle again.
Then a bunch of stacks would just transfer to Zodiac to get like that free server fare.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, and that's good. That's good. That's server management, right? They're splitting up the servers more.
I don't want to go to Zodiac, dude.
Right.
Then just get better at entropy, dude.
I had a great time on Lich getting all the server first for an entire expansion.
I mean, by data center, I think would be good enough. I don't know. Because, I mean, that is true. There are things that PvP guys have. Like, I have a mount that only 600 people in the world has, right? Because I did PvP. And so there's nothing like that per PvE, but they would have to figure out how they need to do that legitimately. But I think they could. I think they could make it happen.
Well, they already do have something like that. They have the ultimate weapons and the ultimate titles and stuff like that. That's exclusive to high-end PvE content players.
Or people with a lot of
Legend
money.
title is so exclusive now.
because
so exclusive.
Because PvP also just can't be botted or bought.
No. PvP has a player limit. Only 100 people can. PvE has no such thing, and it gets easier the longer the game goes. But
basically,
PvP is gone.
Basically, what would be nice is to get like limited rewards for clearing something in terms of PvE. Like,
because
something you can always get, something limited to like the first.
But then
the first group.
I mean,
first
then you can't do that though. You just can't do that because
why not?
It's completely unfair.
Why is it in PvP then?
Unfair? How then you would say the legend title is unfair because some people can't clear UCOP because they're just too bad to do it or didn't find a group. Like, sorry about your statement. It makes no sense.
Have you played WoW like at all?
You basically get rewarded for like
committing your time and dedication to clearing something.
You give your best and clear the first group, so you get rewarded.
That's fine.
You will still get rewards. You will still get rewards, like the UCOP totems and stuff. But you will also get limited rewards.
Okay.
I think something like that only catering to 8 people is just not going to be that feasible.
You can make it the first 10 statics to have like a similar amount of PvP.
Race. It would still just encourage something because right now there's no encouragement there, nothing at all.
There's
it doesn't have
nothing.
to be a mount. It doesn't have to be just a small fucking title already.
Something like that needs to be something that people can actually achieve and get and claim. It's just not something that the people will want to do or even want to bother to try and get. Like the PvP stuff is top 100. Like that's something that people can actually compete towards.
Well, I mean, what if they didn't do it by static? They just said the first 100 accounts, right?
That would be shitty because like
some people might go with their
like, imagine clearing a full static.
That already happens with PvP, man. That already happens with PvP.
Yeah, true.
You have like set groups with 8 people. So imagine having your last group with like at 96 people basically, and then there's one more group which clears at last, and only 4 people of the group get the limited reward. Which is so fucking retarded.
I guess at the end. The last group, right? If there's one reward left, and then 8 people clear it, then all 8 people get it, and it's 107 instead of 100.
You could do that basically. But it would be really shitty if only 4 people would get the limited reward.
That would be funny.
I mean, coming also back to Dance's point, there is still like I think the rarest title in the game is currently the one that has when I cleared Palace of the Dead solo up to floor 200 if I'm not wrong. Now you can go in there and go get it if you want it, right? You can dedicate your time and resources to get that title, show it off, because there's like I don't like 30 or 40 people that have it at this point.
So I'll tell you what's
the Necromancer.
It is the second probably most rare one. The first would be the ones dedicated to the PvP events at the Fan Fest.
More PvP.
I know. There was a title for people that were there.
6 people have the title for each Fan Fest event. The champion one,
Yeah, and this is what I mean. Like PvP gets this reward, even though it's a small part of the community, because PvP is sadly frowned upon, and then you have no rewards for an actual world race, especially in Savage, where there are a lot of people competing. Like Ultimate is something, like you said before, not a lot of people are going to be competing, but for Savage there were like lots of groups that
the reason is it's not a Square Enix sponsored thing. It's not a Square Enix thing that they want to like.
Yeah,
they don't really care about it that much.
They should start doing that. They should reward.
I disagree. I think this time attack format and the competitive side of things on this end of thing is the correct way to go about it. because it's more regular. They can repeatedly do this if they wanted to. They could have this be a once a month Square Enix event. Sign your team up to an in-game time attack race where you try and kill all these bosses in X amount of time. That's easily achievable. The world race is a once every 6 months, 4 months thing where you have.
It should be rare.
That's fine. But if they're wanting to at least market it, they can't market it on a 6-month release schedule. It just doesn't work for them. Like they can do it on a time attack in game probably relatively easily and have titles for that. Like season 1 time attack winner, season 2 time attack winner. They can repeat that over and over again, like they do with Feast and stuff. That isn't tied to a release schedule. World Race is.
Mm-hmm.
The content draw kills that entire idea.
But the thing is, Dan, if the people that dedicate their real life time to doing this World Race should then get rewarded. If you don't dedicate your time, you have no right to get this title.
They do. Outside of the game, they have the community sort of. Hey,
you get to go on my spreadsheet. Congratulations, there's your reward.
Exactly.
That's you can't expect Square Enix to try and invest that much into it when it's a very it's like PvP. It's a very minuscule type thing. With PvP, they can at least see the benefit of they can make this competitive. They can make it a competition. They can get some sort of clout for the game out of this. Because once every 6 months content, people are going to forget about that. Like, it's not repeatable, it's not recurring, it's not going to be something they can advertise effectively. It just isn't going to be feasible for them to try and reward it.
You're talking from a company point of view.
A business company. It is a company.
You're looking at it from a. The thing is, if the World Race would become bigger, we're talking much bigger. More people would start hardcore raiding. Maybe sports groups, like organizations like Solary, would start picking up teams and sponsoring them, which would make it explode. Yeah, I'm just giving you like an action course of action that could happen to make all of this bigger and bigger. You know,
Zeph is also making a good point of they can't, because people widely use ACT. Yeah, they can't market it and tell people to watch streams and stuff if those streamers are using ACT, because literally every single one of them does, and they can't have that being the image of their game as something that you need to use third-party tools to play it at the best level. Like, they just can't feasibly do that.
Yeah, and so the other option is to send them all to a location where they have control over that.
Exactly.
But that's expensive as shit.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Or they start to acknowledge ACT, work with Revan together, and just say, "Yo, disable it, boy."
No.
You know, like
or
something
just
like
ban
that.
ACT and make an official API, like we asked
could also
when
something-
reborn.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff to work on with it, and I do hope that they start seeing the PvE scene as a competitive scene, because it is right now. I mean, with the World Race and everything else, and it's very unofficial. And I think, I mean, the thing is, they pay attention to it though. It's not like they're like, oh, whatever, just some guys, jerking around in the background. They watch everything that's happening with the World Race, and they know who wins, and they know how quickly they do it. They have in-game tools to be able to tell when people win and what time they clear, and if it's legitimate or not. So when they do these tweets and they're like, hey, congratulations to these 3 teams, they have some way of seeing if these are legitimate clears or someone who just found a bug to just instantly beat all the bosses. So there are things they can do. It's tough, man. I can't get in Square Enix's head. I don't know what it's like to run a game company from Japan and try to market it globally, especially like an MMO and everything. So,
like, I think everybody has their own ideas of what they would like to see, but realistically, it's very difficult for them to make a wise, informed decision on what will make this game popular, what will make this game blow up publicly, and what they can actually target within the game to cause that to happen. They tried it with PvP. It's kind of working. They're trying it with the time attack stuff. I can't see them doing it with World Race. It's just not going to happen.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. A time attack definitely is something that they can manage and they can make it work out. I think that is a lot easier to work with. World Race is kind of goofy. I mean, right now they're waiting a couple weeks after the server's up, right? So they have a couple weeks to work out issues like that summoner bug before the World Race starts. And they make adjustments. For example, the timing of all the fights, they worked on that. Like the instant timer stuff. They try to fix that before this next event comes out with the ultimate fight. So with giving it that extra little bit of time there, they are taking steps to try to make it a little bit more legitimate, is what I'm imagining. And from there, maybe it'll turn into something. But I feel like we've been talking about it for a while.
What I have to say to that is also, if like Square Enix would actually care about the time attack thingy, why didn't they post anything on their Twitter websites
Because
or
it
something
was
like
a
that?
Because as Yoshi said, if something
Yeah.
went wrong on the event, it would have been on them.
I don't know exactly what all that happened, but I mean the thing is, again, it was done pretty quickly, so I don't know.
Well,
the business side in the background.
Solary knew about it for a long time. Square Enix just didn't let them announce it or do anything with it publicly because they were still figuring out on their end of things what they wanted Solary to be doing. So Solary were kind of like strung along a little bit by Square Enix because they weren't told everything they needed to be told, and they didn't know that much about it. They were just told, like, get a stage together, we'll do an event, we'll give you more details later. And then like 1 month before the event, they get told, hey, it's going to be a time attack event. And then like 2 weeks before the event, they get told, hey, these are the fights you're going to be doing. It. That was kind of the structure.
The event was, we were basically testers. We tested this event, the format of the event, the organization, if it worked out. We were literally like beta testers for this event. This is why Square Enix did not announce anything or make it big public, because like someone else mentioned, if shit would have gone down the drain, they would have looked very, very bad, because they didn't know how would Solary organize this. They didn't know if Solary had the capabilities to organize this. And this is why they kept it basically in the dark. I can't blame a company to do that or be like, oh, why didn't you promote it? Because we were literally the testers for this format, for this event. And they are very, very, as we all know, it's very like distant, like they don't want to like ruin their name with anything. So this is why it probably wasn't shown in my opinion.
Okay. Understandable.
I mean, from this event, I think I said before, but the developers and the execs and all that sort of stuff were very happy with the event. They said it turned out exactly how they wanted it
Just
to be
to
turned out.
re-clarify, yeah.
Yeah.
Tax, I'm going to ask you something, dude. So I had the opportunity of watching you prog Hades. And so this is something that might be similar going into, like, if World Race turned into something that was casting and watching people prog stuff and clear stuff. Why were you using Hallowed Ground on that first tank buster every time and not saving it for mechanics you didn't know so the fight would last longer?
Basically, I didn't really take the proc there seriously. So I just wanted to make it more comfy for myself and for the healers.
You're lazy. I got it. No, it's cool.
Yeah. And simply just use Hallowed Ground there. That's
not
basically
one first player, that's one.
Like, for example, if it would be like Edenscape proc, you would surely just keep your info, especially Hallowed Ground, for like situations where fuck ups happening or like other stuff. Hades, it was more like, we have 60 minutes, we can do whatever we want, we can proc.
Right.
Just do it.
Yeah. Okay. Because that was actually kind of fun to watch. Because I actually had no clue about Hades at all. Because my sleep schedule got screwed up, and I was sleeping most of the time that I would have been able to really raid and try it out. And so it was cool to see that, and I do want to see that going forward, because there's a lot of stuff that you can analyze and, you know, play the ninth man and figure out all that stuff. And the prog rating is completely different than speedrunning.
It is. Like,
it's the best part of the game.
A good player isn't determined by doing proper speed kills, isn't determined by doing proper DPS. A good player is determined by doing actually good in proc. Like, you need consistency in proc. You have to figure out mechanics. You have to act as a team in a group. You are not allowed to tilt. You have like to know when to shut up so other people can explain mechanics or like give in ideas. You have to work together as a team. And if you can't do that, if you're unable to perform constantly for a long time, you're not a proc player, and you will not be like, you can't call yourself actually good, in my opinion, at least.
Okay. Yeah. So there's lots of comments in chat here too. Yeah. I mean, someone who can basically do well and be consistent within the fights and execute and help figure out the puzzle, right? And see what, like, read the debuffs when it goes off. Put your mouse over it. Figure out exactly what's happening.
And someone that can adjust on the fly really fast. Someone that sees what went wrong and can like save a pull by doing a mechanic that he hasn't done before because it's not his role.
Yeah, so raid awareness is very
I totally agree. What Rafter said in chat is actually completely on point.
And so that's why it's always exciting to watch it. And while it's time attack stuff that it's cool, it's not on the same level as Prague competition.
Well,
it's just...
no, I disagree. There were some hype moments of recovery and people doing mechanics they wouldn't ordinarily do. That did happen in the time attack event.
Well, shout out to Lullaby for nearly saving us 2 pulls by sacrificing himself just to keep.
I mean, if you're fully aware and you know what's going right, or watching what people are doing, you can clearly see when someone's pulling out just a big dick play, and they're like saving a pull. Like you can see it happening.
Like
so it still does happen.
For example, during the UCOP run of like Mantle Boom, where they almost died and wiped, and saved the run with the healer LB, Ayeri actually did a clutch rest and saved the run there because both healers were dead.
Yeah,
like Styx was still in the wall, and Muno just got rest by Ayeri, so they could actually save the run, which was a very tight rest in my opinion.
I still like curse Lenny for that because, as I said, like we winged all of Alpha. We're getting to A11S. We're like about to hit Panto 2 about 10 seconds before. He's like, Ryder, you know how to do Panto 2, right? Like baiting the orbs on. No. Well, you do now.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, if we were talking about time attack being a more serious, like all the time thing that people practice for, and they knew all the fights, and it was all speedrun strategy stuff, it would be a different event, wouldn't it?
I could see it like I said before. I could see it being an in-game thing, like an in-game tournament where you just sign up, you just log in between point A and point B in time on a particular day and clear these fights in a particular order. Like the game could just very quickly automatically throw you into fight after fight after fight in mid-eye level or something like that, and you just away you go and see how you do, and then you get rewards based on that. Like I could see that being a thing they could very easily do in this game.
Well, I mean, I do want to go back. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, you continue. I'm just
saying
whatever.
I was basically thinking if they do basically have all this stuff happening in-game, it gets really scary, right? Because you have no control over the player's computer and what they have on their computer. And if someone is doing something illegitimate, it's kind of hard to catch. I mean, they can go back and look at it, afterwards, but during the event, they have people that everybody's watching these players go and compete and everything else. But if someone's doing something illegitimate, then that ruins the whole event, does it not?
I mean, that's gonna happen.
I can agree with it.
There's like lots of controversials about mostly ACT callouts, I think. While in the event, we were of course not allowed to use ACT. And
well, let's call out either, but
basically, we had just Muna, big fan by the way, who just called out everything in UCOP for us. Like he learned the Japanese quotes. He plays the game in Japanese, and they're super easy.
Too,
and yeah, of course. and he just did. He was our ACT on stage for those of us that didn't know the quotes, because having one person, of course, calling out consistently is better than having 8 people reading them by themselves and someone fucks up, for example. It's just really hard to draw this line of what is acceptable and what not, because then there's also tools like I don't remember the name, which has written in timeline, which displays on screen for you, which is in my eyes at that point just why do you even bother if you need a timeline on your screen if you play a raid or if you want to clear a raid, because that's just borderline cheating at that point. You know. So it's like it would have to be official rules set by Square Enix for a third-party tool that is technically not allowed, because I mean, how would you check if people use it if they don't stream it?
Realistically, like the advantage it gives is minimal, though. Like it's not a huge advantage. If you're,
a huge advantage.
Did you see the time?
So is writing down the timeline and just sticking it on a notepad on the side of your monitor or something like. There's nothing.
It's different. No, it's different.
I mean,
like if you have it literally on your screen, like counting down when the mechanic is gonna happen, and you have to, instead of having to look over to your second screen and looking what mechanic will come up, you have to find it. Basically, you have to go through that notepad, which is probably filled with mechanics. You have to find the spot you're at. You have to look at the next mechanic that's coming up. Compared to literally a tool on screen showing you, all right, this mechanic is happening in like 10 seconds. That's a big difference in my eyes.
I mean, not necessarily if you actually know the fight. Again, you know that's going to come up anyway. Right. There isn't that much of a difference.
Well, it depends. I mean, I can see people. It does make it easier overall. The interface is better to have something out there. I've never actually. You can see how much of a fucking idiot. Maybe not idiot, but maybe lazy. I don't even use ACT, right, when I do a lot of my fights, because the guides are already out, and I think the fights are not difficult enough after the first couple of weeks to need to do anything. Just make sure I am doing a proper rotation and everything else when I clear it. But you can't convince the rest of the community to do that, because they want it to be as simple and easy as possible. And if you have something in the fight where there are quotes that you have absolutely no clue, you have to read an entire sentence to figure out what 2 mechanics are coming up next, you're going to use ACT, or you're going to use any other little advanced things to tell you where to place stuff at or where these mechanics are coming out, because it's easier. And you're competing to be first. It's not like you're doing it for fun. You're still trying to get first. So people are going to go out there and they're going to get every bit of information they can and make it as easy as possible to get first, right? You can never take it away.
I guess. Yeah, that's the thing, right? People want to compete if there's actually like something at stake. Like, I mean, we got at the event, the prizes were now a monitor for first place, headset second place, mouse third place, and mouse pad for fourth place. Like, we weren't there for the rewards. I did not go on stage and was like, I want to win this monitor so badly, you know?
Right.
But if now there would be an in-game created event like that, and the reward would be an exclusive title or an exclusive item just with bragging rights to show off. Yeah, I mean, why would I not use ACT if I know that maybe X team is using ACT and has callouts, or Hackbot, you know? Of course, it depends on what kind of event it would be again, and it's just really hard to draw a line there on how to do that, because it's all still not acknowledged by Square Enix, the whole ACT plugin, and how to make this happen is really the big question, which is probably why we won't see it ever until they start making their own damage meter in-game, and ACT is just gonna die off. Because then it should literally just die if there's a damage meter in game. Because
people want mechanics called out for them.
Yeah, they shouldn't. Then you shouldn't raid, because that's the fun about raiding. Like, that's the challenge of raiding, to actually execute mechanics properly without having someone yell at you. Because the nail quotes were just absolute horrible design of a mechanic that requires you to read several lines, and not in JP. It was like one word. Right, and the same went for the starboard larboard mechanic. We had like English translation was horrible for that when it was in JP, just left and right basically. And just to have this, like, it would have to change a lot, to be honest.
All right. Well, I know it's getting kind of late for you guys. What time is it for everybody?
1 a.m.
It's 1 a.m.
Fucking nice.
It's midnight, dude.
Midnight.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're out here in Sunday, boys. Sunday gamers.
Jeez. I appreciate you guys coming on too and coming out, and I'm sorry the time zones got messed up. I thought it was going to be an hour earlier, but it wasn't.
I appreciate you, Frosty.
Oh.
You're a good egg.
Oh, thanks. I like being an egg.
Don't eat it, Ryder.
Don't mention fucking
I can't
eggs.
believe I'm on Frost. Like, I'm on the show, dude.
Man, we can have that whole conversation if you want, Fox. If we would talk about Fox being on MogTalk, we can go through that.
Fucking get Frosty on Fox Talk, dude.
How are we famous now because we are on MogTalk?
Yeah, you guys are all famous now. There's maybe 10 people who know you.
Hell yeah!
Hey, I was on the first Fox Talk, dude. I'm famous
Hi,
from
Mom.
that.
Nice. Well, I mean, like, we should probably start going towards the side of wrapping up the show, just so you guys can eventually go to bed and it's not so bad. And this actually went really well. I thought having 8 people on here would be a complete shit fest, but
No, dude, we're European. We're not gonna just start screeching and beating our chests like monkeys, like even anyways, dude. Like...
Oh, jeez.
I mean, you have monitor gamers and headset gamers. Voice chat, okay?
Okay.
Please.
And mousepad gamers, yeah, fuck you, dude.
Don't forget us, please. We are important as well. We have
exist.
feelings.
Who are you?
I don't know if we
Fuck
have
you,
any
dude.
questions, guys. Hold on, let me see if there's absolutely no questions for you. Nobody wanted to ask you any questions. Do you guys feel bad about that?
See, we are.
Elka, what's it
I have
like
a
being so
question.
tall?
It's really annoying being tall. You hit your head on every door frame. You can't sleep in bed. And
boys, let's all
small
put a question in. Yeah, let's all put.
Yeah, sweet.
I'll post a question.
think
I'm going to do a giveaway.
Can we
too.
put questions
Put
for
in a
Frosty?
question.
You can
Yeah,
put
let's
questions
ask
for me if you
Frosty a
want. That's
question.
fine. I mean, I don't have to answer it, but you know, I'll read it. I'll know it exists. I'm going to do a giveaway too for like just a Mog Station item. There you go. And you guys can enter the Mog Station item giveaway too if you'd like.
Oh hell yeah!
Hell
dude.
yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
So give me...
In before rigged? Question mark.
Yeah. You know, no one on the show has won yet. So
Yo, Ryder, you know how you won that mouse pad? Just act like really, really sad, and then you can be happy about winning the MogTalk giveaway. Yeah.
I mean, when I won Fox's giveaway, I went in chat and called it fucking rigged. I told everyone that.
Oh yeah,
told
you
me
won.
on-
You won
Black
Black
Ops.
Ops.
4, yeah.
I would
Yeah,
do something, bro. Like, I mean, who would believe that? That was like to prove it was not rigged.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ,
fair
where's
enough.
Moobot's giveaway thing? That just disappeared. Did they change Moobot? Oh,
I don't use it. I don't know.
fucking Moobot.
Just say the next person to follow wins the giveaway. Happy days.
All the people who who've already followed punished him for it.
Refollow.
yeah, just,
Unlucky.
yeah, unfollow again.
I
boys.
just did that.
You can't. It doesn't show up. There's a refollow.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Dude,
All right.
unlucky, dude.
I found it. Don't gotta worry about doing something goofy like that. Hold on. Let me
We
create
have
a
some
new one.
technical issues. Just hold on first.
Hold on, guys.
Right back.
Oh my god, Rafter! Fucking hell!
Oh my fucking god.
Hey, Frosty, I have a question for you. How do you
Sure.
feel about NA's performance at the World Races?
Okay, so seriously, as in like since was it Midas? Or no, it wasn't Midas. It was Midas.
Creator was when Entropy won first.
Yeah. You know, I think they do a really good job every single time they go.
To fuck up.
I wouldn't say they fuck up, man. It's challenging. Entropy is a scary fucking team, man. I don't know if you should know a little bit about Entropy, but those guys are fucking scary as shit. And they're a really good team, and it was awesome to see them kind of come in around Creator and get that win. And they have been dominating for quite a while. I do want to see NA make a comeback, because, you know, Alexander was one that they were dominating in quite a bit. One of the most impressive world races was not Creator, but was Gordius. Figuring out fucking Nissi and doing it correctly to win a world race was very impressive. So I want to see something like that happen again. But, you know, Elysium has split up, or their teams don't really exist right now. They're not taking off the time for it. There's a handful of them in other teams competing, and there are some really scary teams coming up. Overall, performance-wise, I'm still happy with how they have done, and I actually think this race, they might be a proper contender on the NA side to beat EU. From seeing the teams.
Hot take from Frosty.
I mean, seeing them. I don't know.
Commentators curse coming in, boys.
Oh, fuck. Dude, you know, every single time, you guys... I'd be like, there's no way they could mess this up, and then you guys would fucking die.
No way they can joke on this.
Dude, I had a sign that I doodled on it. There's no way they can choke this. And anytime Ensemble were like doing particularly well, I just held it up, and Ilon would just like catch it out of the corner of his eye and just like giggle. Dude.
Jesus. All right, I'm going to announce this. You have to type a word in on chat to enter. All right, it's actually going to be a string of words. It's posted in chat. And so if you guys type that...
Tax is gonna fail this.
Silence the ad. Oh, brilliant, dude. Ooh, I got a DM from Moobot.
Holy shit.
My first DM.
Moobot slid straight into my DMs, dude.
Moobot, dude.
What the fuck? Oh,
Dude,
it's just-
dude,
Maybe we can
dude,
actually
Wait,
get
hang
late
on.
tonight.
Hang on. Has he
I
fucked
lose.
it?
I lose. I can't do this,
Oh
man.
my god, all these questions just came in.
Dude, I hope Tax wins this.
If I win this,
That would be
too.
so like iconic, dude.
Let's give it some time. I'll let the giveaway simmer for a little while people are entering in, and we'll ask a few questions. The first question is from Dance here. Do you use beard oil? I don't. You know, I have before.
You should. You should.
It feels good though.
It does feel good, dude. It does feel
Like
good.
my hair actually feels pretty good without the beard oil because I have kind of a thinner hair overall.
Yeah, all right.
And so it actually works out. Although it is kind of thick, and my wife is like, you know, I really would rather you not have this rough piece of shit on my face.
You see, beard oil solves that issue. You can have the beautiful mane, and your wife will be like, "Oh my god, it's so smooth! I love it. It's like you've shaved."
Fucking hell, dude.
He's
say
just
fucking hell for
promoting
it, right?
beard oil
Anya can
right
tell you
now.
all about how good beard oil is.
You tried some of Bandy's beard oil.
Yeah, I did.
Good,
it was
dude.
actually good. It wasn't bad,
Yeah,
and it
dude.
smells good. Like it really smells good.
Your face just smells nice. Your beard's soft.
But my beard is
Your
not
wife
that
would be like-
big, dude. It's kind of small.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter though. But it's
Size
scratched.
doesn't matter, honestly.
It's
What do you do with it?
The issue.
Imagine being able to grow facial hair.
I got some. I'll start putting it on just for you, dude. I'll start putting it on daily.
Thanks, man.
You can't relate, Ryder.
Yeah, I really fucking can't.
Ryder can't relate.
I can't grow facial hair. I don't know why.
Ryder's got the old it blows off in a hard breeze type of facial hair.
I mean,
Yeah.
Ryder is just the bottom, dude.
I'm not. There's no picture of me picking you up and you doing like a cum face, dude.
Oh my god, great.
My eyes are just closed, dude.
I mean, Tax, I've got that picture of me and you just cuddling on my bed, dude. Playing
Okay.
Cards Against Humanity, my guy.
So here's the next question. Ryder, I'm not gonna ask your question. That's too self-serving. Sorry, dude.
What?
Get fucked, dude.
Yeah. Egg asked a question here. Ryder, do you have a video of eating me?
Fuck
What?
off. Alright, so let's Alright, so it was like very early days GTL, like the first month or so. There's this guy called Cake. He was at the Solary event. He used to pay me to just do obscure things on camera. Like it all started with
So
the first one was
by the way. All very
the
safe
first
for
one
work.
was some Cocoa Pops with salt water. It was shit. Then there was like half a pint. Then there was like milk and Coke. That was horrible. And then he offered me 12 quid to eat an egg with the shell on. And I'm not a pussy, dude.
A raw egg.
A raw egg?
You're retarded, dude.
Imagine eating.
There's a video of it as well, and I made 12 quid. Like, fuck it.
I think I threw a fiver in for that.
Yeah, like you, Lean, and Max put money in towards it.
Yeah.
Nice. I am so glad you can be bought. All right.
I really can. I really fucking can.
He's very cheap as.
He's really poor.
Yeah.
He's really poor.
This is a question for Tax. What are your 3 sizes?
What?
Oh my.
Wait. Did Onion ask this?
It
Did
said
fucking
Task's
Onion
biggest
ask this?
fan. That's all it says. I don't.
That's Onion. That's definitely Onion.
That's fucking Onion.
6
What are
foot
your
10
sizes,
inches,
dude?
right? Tax 2 measurements, yeah.
Yeah.
He's really short, by the way.
This isn't our end
he's like
question.
5'5"
I'm only 176, sadly.
Yeah, it really fucking shows.
There's another egg
You
question
just-
for Ryder, but I'm skipping it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'll ask this because I think Fox could take it in good faith. When is Fox having an operation done to remove his 3rd chin?
So after I saw the VODs on the Time Attack event, I already contacted several surgeons to see if they can finish this, but unluckily they all said it's an impossible job and I will never be able to get rid of it. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah, just wear a scarf.
That 3rd chin.
Just throw a face.
Just buy a scarf, dude. It's cheaper than surgery.
Oh, jeez. All right, I'm going to announce this giveaway one more time. I got some more questions. These are pretty quick, so I'm going to go through some more questions here. If you guys want to enter, you have to silence the ad in chat.
Not like me.
How can Tax enter then? I don't understand.
He can try. I mean, he can try, unless he forgets. So, let's see. This is from Tax. What is your favorite player? Oh, no. No, it is. What is your favorite player and moment during PGW Frosty?
That's a good question.
So, my favorite player out of 32 people had to piss off 31. Let me see. Honestly, I don't know if I really even thought about it that much. Yoshi, no, he was interesting to watch. He was interesting to watch. He added a lot of spice to it, and people were making fun of him. And I think that's actually something that's entertaining.
He gave you a line to say during the commentary, right?
It gave me something to talk about. Honestly, I could have talked about more of the fight, but I wasn't seeing it.
Neither were we.
Jesus Christ!
Ouch! He's shooting.
No, but I mean, I didn't really think about it. I think everybody that came on stage was pretty awesome. I can't really pick a player, dude. I don't know if I really have a favorite out of all you guys, because you all did wonderful at the event. And the biggest thing, the thing that I love the most is when people are mature adults on stage events like this and don't fuck it up for everyone else. And you guys all did that, so thank you for it. Well, not you might have tried to toe the line a little bit, but you knew where that fucking line was. You weren't going past it.
Milka didn't. That's why they didn't show his screen.
Well, I literally just put a link shot on the screen saying.
No, on the
link
first
and
day,
MogTalk.
what did you put in party chat on the first day,
you're not saying that. You're not saying that. Shut up.
And I will say my favorite moment was the finale for sure. That last 0.9%, because if you guys would have cleared it, that would have been exciting too. But the thing is, you guys were within that point. Like, I was able to say this point matters, right? And if this doesn't happen, then it's over. If this does happen, it's over. There was something to talk about. And so it was awesome to actually have a moment like that at the end of the event.
Thanks, Ariel. Thank you so much, Ari, for doing that.
Yo, Fox, shut the fuck up, dude.
Oh, what the fuck?
Done more DPS.
Stop making suicidal, dude. Just do more DPS.
Do more damage, yeah. Do more damage. Don't blame someone else for your own failure.
You guys are just bad at this game. You should have done more.
0.9%. Anyone of you could have played better.
Any one of us could have played better and made that check, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other thing to that too is that afterwards, I thought you guys were done. Like, they were showing a camera. I forget who it was who's doing like this neck thing. They're like, cut it off, no more. I don't want to.
That was the thing. Like, let me just tell you guys. Like, Mina did this double thing on his neck, right? And that has been a whole meme that we established over the week at Paris Games Weekend. Like, where we just did this movement with our hands on the neck, like, this is kind of awkward, dude. It goes to him when he did that, and we were watching the VOD in our room, and we were busting out laughing because it was an inside joke of us, and he was shown at the moment. It was absolutely hilarious.
Because I thought it was like, okay, well, he's saying, no, I want out. I don't want this anymore. And
so basically, what happened there is, before we went into Uwu, I had a tech guy come up to me and be like, they cleared this in 42 minutes. That's what time you have. If you don't clear it in that time, you're done. So that was what I was told. So I obviously echoed that. I echoed that to the group. I was like, right, boys, we've got one pull and that's it. So let's do this.
Okay.
And then obviously we wipe, and it's like, well, that's it. I guess we're done. Like, I start shaking hands and like, well done, nice job, all that sort of shit. And then I'm like looking around like, are we still going or what? Like, we're all really confused. And so I do a hand motion to Yoshi, like, do we keep going or what? And he's like, yeah, you keep going. So it was all very confusing because we didn't know if we should just stop at that point or not, because obviously second place is already decided and we'd already been told beforehand, like, you're done after this point. So
it was awesome to see you guys go back in there.
Another fun fact: we took less total pulls to clear Yukon and Uwu than Ensemble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bloom wipe.
Technically, if you remove the wipe that got removed, we had the same amount pool.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you failed at the end, right? I mean, actually, there's a lot of points.
Dude, let me say something. Basically, during one pull, there was a fucking plume where I started screaming my lungs out at the people to fucking attack it because I was the only one with Chayo attacking.
We saw that.
All of those fucking retards, yes, you guys are retarded, are attacking Garuda while I'm screaming.
Everyone thought you were saying move, and not plume. Like, what?
Yeah,
Dude,
I watched you slapping that ad around. And about the that was mine.
All right, I'm going to ask this question is actually not a joke question, so I'm going to ask it real quick, then I'll do the giveaway here. Assuming Square Enix ever started to host official physical events for World Races with limited rewards only attainable by attending those events, would you guys be inclined to go, or would you rather do it at home with your own setup that you're familiar with?
Go. I would go. Definitely go.
100%. Unless you're like got like bad social anxiety or anything like that, there is really no reason not to go.
Like, in the end, you will just meet people you're already knowing, like, for some time already. You played with them, you had fun with them, and then you actually get the chance to meet them as well and have fun. So, honestly, I don't know what would be against that. Like, I would totally go.
Yeah. For me, if the audio on stage would have been fixed, like in terms of actually being able to communicate with your teammates, it would have been really comfy to raid there. I had no issues sitting on stage.
Yeah, same.
Everything.
Yeah,
if we had working communication, it would have been like infinitely better. But it was still amazing what it was.
Yeah.
Like there weren't too many tech issues. I had a couple of tech issues. I had an issue with Control and Alt locking on. So if at random points on my POV of the first fight of the day, you'll see me tabbing out of the game every like 2 seconds because I'm like trying to tab target stuff and just getting tabbed out because Alt's stuck on and Control's stuck on and all that sort of stuff. But there were a few other sporadic tech issues and people pressing in the wrong password because the keyboard just like French.
I couldn't move during Python because my keyboard changed.
Shout out to Tatsu and Sticks who had to reset their password on stage, and with the tech guys like hovering over their shoulder, like, "Are we fucking ready? Are we good to go? What's going on here?"
Nice. All right.
My controller wouldn't connect to the computer either. That was kind of sad.
Oh. All right. Hold on. Let me do this giveaway. Let me do the giveaway. D-Skin?
Explains.
Hello, that's me.
What? D-Skin?
That's rigged? What?
That's fucking rigged, dude.
I immediately called. Well, what do I win, boy? What do I win? Goods.
$25 of a Mog Station item. Up to $25.
Just take the cash, dude.
No, I'm not giving you money. It's Mog Station, dude.
Mog Station, boys. Let's have a look.
All right, so look at it later, Daz. We'll look at it. You can look at it now if you want to, but I'll talk to you later about it, and we'll get it working out.
Hell yeah, dude.
First time anyone's on the show one.
Of course, fucking dead.
Rig this shit, I guess.
I called rigged immediately as well.
All right, so here's another question that's a little bit more serious, I guess. Asked by Daddy. Fox. This is to Fox. If Square Enix gives titles for the top 100 people in each data center, or kind of what we were talking about earlier, are you still gonna care? Oh, never mind. This is never mind. I'm done. I actually I did read the last part. I'm ending it.
Yeah,
what was it? Come on, read it.
Read it.
I don't know the drama behind it, so I don't want to go for it unless you don't care.
Do it. No.
It
depends on what it is.
It's talk. Never. You know what? I'll throw this in here and I'll give it to you. And then you could tell me if you want me to ask it or not, because I don't want to bring up any kind of weird drama or anything.
Oh, very interesting. Okay, so yeah, sure. I'm okay with answering this.
Okay, are you gonna carry your girlfriend? Is what it says. Through
I'm gonna
more
carry
content.
my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna make shout out to the people that actually think that I carried my girlfriend to UCOB. Sure. When it probably is the people that prog with her beforehand who are, in my eyes, absolute losers for still bringing this up. When my girlfriend, we one-shot UCOB because she wasn't able to clear with that group because, like I said, they were losers. And we then just, I assembled a team of nice people. We went into UCOB. Shinzo made a mistake on the first pool, and she didn't fuck up. She played well, and it was not a carry. So that's all I can say. And I'm going to say I love my girlfriend too.
This is from never mind. I'm not gonna do this one. All
No.
right. Harold's asking a question. How did it feel adjusting to a different keyboard and mouse? Were there any 12-button mice users that adapt to a normal mouse? And I think they just don't understand what actually happened there.
We could actually bring our own devices. It was perfectly fine.
Yeah. And they didn't do that for the Square Enix one for PvP and everything, but they did at this event. I thought that was awesome that they let you guys bring it because there is stuff that you can do to be I don't know, a little sneaky with your own peripherals, but you guys didn't do that, so
that you know of.
Yes, so Jesus. I don't understand the joke. What's Plan B? Pug prog? Is that like a joke?
Oh, that's a Discord server to be clear UCOB with pug groups because your static probably quit the game after clearing it once, so it's your.
Oh my god, these guys are really trying to. All right. I'll ask this last question I was going to skip earlier. This is from the leader of China here. I want to ban Fox because he looks like Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, fuck's sake, dude.
No free Hong Kong, right? No free Hong Kong.
Can you guys stop, please? Like, what the?
Sorry, Fox. I don't know why.
I know why. You're frustrated. I mean, you invited me. That's very, very nice of you to invite me, even though running a risk that I would say really weird things, maybe, or things that you wouldn't like me saying.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
You trusted me.
I do.
So I'm very, very gladful for inviting me.
I feel like something bad's coming, dude. Like.
But of course, it was so obvious that you will have so many questions, or probably like very negative questions for me because yeah, I mean, the haters are there, man.
Yeah.
I have to deal with it on a daily
Oh,
basis.
boy.
Unlucky.
So, yeah, no, and you know, we could talk at the end of the show. Let's talk about it. So we're wrapping up and everything, because Fox is actually, you know, a controversial person in the community. Fox, would you say that you're controversial?
I used to be at the start when I started streaming very controversial. I would do lots of things that looking back, I actually think I should not have done. I did over the past few months change personally quite a lot. I think I became more oriented towards helping the community in terms of like making guides, in terms of like helping people to improve and realize what is actually important in this game, like playing different job, being a good player, and helping the community, which is also why I'm joining lots of party finders to help people clear content. And if people want to hold a grudge, that has been me for like whatever, like month ago, sure thing, you can do so. But I think that I'm on the right track to becoming a better person myself. And I think the community helped me also a lot. Like the community opened my eyes because I became more popular in the community like only half a year ago, something like that. And literally, like this is now, I open my eyes a lot, and this taught me a lot of things, and I do aim to be just more a streamer that focuses on myself instead of drama around the community in general. And because I personally would love to do that, but the community just can't take it, and they will just fire back with whatever they have as ammunition against me. And it's a weird community that we have, but it's also a lovely community. Like the people I met at this Paris Games Week, amazing, and I'm again very happy I got to meet everyone.
Yeah, it was awesome for you guys all to get together again. I think, and I will say this personally, and I don't know how horribly offensive this is, but like, it's kind of weird. I feel like a lot of European players are really assholes on the internet. There's a lot of asshole European players.
Yeah, we're all assholes.
But here, let me finish.
That's an interesting topic.
Let me finish. When I get in person, some of the nicest people in the world are European. Like, it's weird. It's like you're so many assholes on the internet, but in person, you guys are. If I'm being a horrible person right now, and I'm generalizing, that's what I've noticed. Because this happened. I had a lot of people who said really horrible things about me, and they wanted to really nasty, gross things. I won't repeat it, but after I got to the event in Paris for FanFest, they're the nicest people I knew.
To be fair,
people in
like,
the EU, absolutely.
We just say it. Like, we're assholes, but like we'll make it known. Whereas NA are assholes, but like they're the little sneaky little shits.
To be fair, I think it's more likely that. Sorry,
the EU people will tell you straight to your face if they don't like you. Like they will just like. I have a few people in community I don't like. I say it openly. I'm okay with that. But I think in NA it's more like behind closed doors. I don't know. It's just a different mentality. And
I think people in EU aren't afraid to just like a lot of it as well. I think it's banter. Like it might be poorly timed, like really crappy banter, but it's probably going to be banter. Like people aren't like. I'd be very surprised if people are actually going to hold grudges and actually care about what happens on the internet. Yeah. Like if you actually genuinely do, like you've got something wrong in your fucking head. Like go see a shrink or something. Like what the hell.
Like my static say some like really shitty things to me, but like I just kind of put up with it because it's just EU fucking banter. Whereas on NA, they'd probably like they just would not be able to handle that.
I mean, mate, you'd just be kicked from a group with no knowledge why on NA.
No, that's the JP mentality mostly. They kick you and reform the group afterwards. They disband the group. I'm sorry, they don't kick you. They'll disband the group. From what I've seen, but
yeah, Frosty, for you personally. If people do like say mean stuff, like I got thrown so much shit at me, like for the past few months on especially my Curious Cats, which is a really huge shit show. Just ignore it. Like people that just want negativity for you or that just like shit talk you, want to drag you down, just don't take these comments serious. Just think of those people as absolute losers that have nothing better to do with their time than to dedicate it to making you feel bad. This is how I got actually to where I am, because if I would have let all of these comments gotten to myself, I would probably be like have killed myself by now, honestly.
I mean, and that's
you should do it though.
It's not too late.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
Mood just.
Oh God. All right.
Oh, fuck's mental booming.
And I'll also say this too, Fox, as I agree exactly with what you're saying. I don't actually imagine that these people are actually horrible people, though. I'm more of like, something's off and it's just, they don't quite understand what they're saying and what's going on and how that really affects. Because I've had a lot of weird situations happen to me when I was growing up. Oh, that sounds weird saying, actually. I need to rephrase that. I've been through some shit in my life with dealing with different personalities of different people and everything else. And so I can kind of see past someone being a piece of shit, which I will honestly say is one of the reasons why you're on the show, Fox, because I can look past anything that might have been like shitty and understand that you're not a shitty person, if that makes any sense.
I am. It touched my heart.
Good. I hope so.
Now, I mean, to be on the show right now and talk to you like this actually is really nice. I'm not gonna lie. I feel it feels very welcoming here, and in general, just like there is lots of NA versus AU memes, right? Everyone has them, and I think it's just banter. Like I don't know, there's lots of banter coming through, and I think people just shouldn't take it serious. Like, what is any competitive sport without banter? It's just part of the game, and there's just so many people that take all the banter so serious, and yeah, it's just. That's just something that's a bit bad in community. They just take everything too personal, I think.
Yeah. But now we're in therapy hour and we're going into a completely different part of the show. But I do want to say that I appreciate everybody coming on. You guys are all awesome, and we had a wonderful show today. And it means a lot to me that you guys went out and did this event. I am glad that you guys had fun with it, but for me to see stuff like this grow in the community and be able to be a part of it in any way is amazing. And I hope that we continue to have stuff like this. And there's more organizations that pick up and they're like, hey, we should probably do an event and see how that works out. And more events that Square Enix supports in the background, at least in some regard. So we'll see.
I think the only thing to take away for us is if you are going to do a solo hosting thing again, just beg for another caster.
Yeah.
Just so you can have someone to fucking talk to for like however long you were doing it for, like 5 hours straight. Like that must have been mind numbing, dude.
It's rough, dude. It's rough. And again, I'm not like a professional being flown out to all these different places and have done this for years or decades or whatever of commentation by myself. So a lot of this stuff is me learning and growing and just doing it because I want to do it. And so can you imagine being a Final Fantasy XIV caster? Who else does this?
Yeah. You can always ask me. I'm up for it. I can try.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask someone.
Yeah, and I mean, it has to. The thing is, it also has to go through. It's not just me. It has to go through. It can't be just like, hey, I want to pull on my friend, and they're like, okay, we completely trust you, and everything's going to be good. They have to probably do some sort of vetting or some sort of stuff before. So there's time that has to be put into getting that extra person, and so.
I mean, fuck getting another caster. Just come to the event. Like, come out on the lash with us. It'll be great.
Yeah, from America.
Frosty on the lash, dude. Come on.
It would have been awesome to be out there. I was hoping I could, but at the same time, being able to work and not lose money for missing days of work felt pretty good.
Just not have annual leave, dude.
All right, so I want to talk about that. All right, this is the last point.
Paid leave.
Also, another thing that was also really awkward is that you had no sound effects because you had to mute the official stream, which was really bad. Actually, if they should have given you a different, like your own setup, basically, where you had in-game sounds and everything, which just didn't help at all because it was very quiet if you didn't talk. That's another thing that was not that good.
Yeah, and again, it was one of those things that was more of like, hey, we're going to do it and try to make it happen than actually like all within the original plan, I think. But anyways, on that part, and I want to just say on the, because I thought about this too, taking paid leave, that's my paid leave, man. So, like, I can use that paid leave.
His wife, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, I use so much of my leave taking time off to play this game that I pay for. Like, I don't even know why I do it anymore.
Right.
Hey, whatever. Not like I'm going to use it on anything else, right? Holidays, right? What are those?
So it would have been really expensive to get me out, especially from the U.S., and then accommodate somehow for me to be on stage as well, where it wasn't weird in some regard, or somehow where there was a setup where I existed there. But anyways, We'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up, guys. And I'll basically, what I'll do here at the very last part is go to each team and have each one of you guys kind of say something to finish up the show, last bits. Don't go on for like 10, 20 minutes, but say whatever you'd like and kind of any shout outs or anything you want to do. And I'm going to go actually start from, I'm going to do Redux first. Redux, and I'll do Raikou, if you're okay. I'm going to make you go first. You're completely unexpected. Any shout outs that you want to do or anything, last things that you want to say before we end the show?
Yeah, kind of want to thank my FC, the actual Redux FC, to let us use their name because we didn't have anyone, so kind of just took our name. So yeah, shout out to them. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you actually said you could do it like without asking.
Yeah, you didn't ask.
like he told me, yeah, I basically am master there, so we can do it. So
Master.
What are you saying, dude?
All right, Sham.
I mean, still.
You want to do your shout-outs?
I guess my only shout-out would be to Theo, because he did a really good job and he handled it very well. And I mean, he's pretty much the one that made it possible. So just thank you.
Okay. All right, Solary. I'll start with Ryder here.
Shit. Shout out to my boys over in GTL for making my life a living. Shout out to Kane as well. He was like the best guy at that event. I fucking love Kane.
Kane is the nicest guy I've ever met.
Yeah, agreed. Kane is like absolute pog.
Lovely dude. Yeah.
I guess that's it. I'm not an interesting person.
All right, cool enough. Milka.
Shout out to like everyone who was at the event, because we were over 30 people and there was literally not a single like drama thing happening. Everyone was just nice to each other and it worked out. And also shout out to the ERC rating community who makes recruitment in EU really easy. You should join the Discord if possible.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Paid advertisement. Paid mod.
How much they pay you, Milka?
Oh yeah, shout out to everyone who brings me chocolate to conventions. You always have a place in my heart.
Jeez. All right, we'll go to Mental Boom here. Dance, you want to go first?
I was drinking, dude. Shout out to the glorious leader Fox, great leader of Mental Boom, extending his gracious, grateful, loving hand to me, just a poor scrub gamer that he knew from back then, and asking me to join him and his group on their escapade to France. I had a great time, met some wonderful people, and shout out to anyone that knew me in Twitch chat for just saying hi and all that. I read it back and love you all.
Okay, nice. All right, Fox.
Hi, of course, thank you, Dance, for coming, for accepting the invite. Then also a big shout out to my group Mental Boom in general, which is probably the best group I could wish for, literally, like in every aspect. If with this band, I don't know what I would do. And a shout out again to my lovely girlfriend, Lumi, which I love.
Okay. All right. We'll finish up with Ensemble here. Ashura.
Shout out to Solary for making this event, and shout out to Tax because he invited me. So yeah, thanks, Tax.
You're welcome, buddy.
All right, Tax, you want to finish this up?
Yeah, basically, shout out to Solary. Shout out to all the people which came to Paris Games Week. Thank you thank you for just coming there and making me able to meet you guys. All of you were awesome. I had the best time of my life, literally. And just thank you for inviting me for us to your stream.
Yeah, of course.
And have an awesome evening, guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up now. And again, I do want to extend a big thank you to everybody, all you guys coming on the show, because this worked out way better than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be a clusterfuck and awkward and weird, and it wasn't. You guys are people that were worth hanging out with. I do want to do my own personal shout-outs here. One to Petzilla, who's in chat. I told him I would, because he actually did translate some stuff in French during or translate it from French to English during the stream to try to give a little bit more info about what was going on during some of those events and everything else. So huge thank you to him. And also thank you to Cleese. That guy I talked to a little bit during the before the event on the final day. I was like, all right, what's worth talking about with Ultimate? How do I put some interesting thoughts into it? And so he kind of helped me make sure I wasn't just a complete idiot. And so without Cleese, I would have looked a little bit stupider than I actually did. So thank you to him. And also, thank you to Andre Kane, who does the music for the show and the intro and the closing. Thank you very much to Kawara. I can't say my wife's name. Carrara for good emotional support for me.
Definitely get that beard oil going. Definitely get that beard oil. You're gonna need it now.
Yeah. And then thank you very much for Blizzana for the artwork that I have on the show for layout and everything else. And I do want to say I have no clue what the show's going to be next week because I usually, during these world races, I try to keep those shows relatively open in case there is a clear before the show. So people who do clear can come on if they'd like to, or people who are at least in the race could come on and talk about it a bit. And so we'll see how that works out. And then besides that, yeah, that's really it, guys. We all good? Anything else we got to get out before we close the stream?
Shout out to Milka's girlfriend.
Yeah, thanks for hosting us all, Frosty. Your production quality is pretty dank. I like it. Okay. I'll definitely tune in for future MogTalks because I've never watched one before. This was entertaining. Shout out to you for the fucking amazing Star Wars thing you did. A couple of MogTalks.
Hey, I never did that. All right, so
who was that?
It was one of the teams, and so like they come on every once in a while, and I think it was Liz, Aya. I can't remember who does it. Or Zep. One of those guys did the Star Wars thing, and I put it on. I have to always cut it from the VOD because it kills my VOD on YouTube. But
oh yeah, it had GTL on it, didn't it?
Yeah, we were mentioning on that. I was like, why the hell are we on there?
That was Zep. Zep did it. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and close it up. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And until next time, remember, be good, keep cool, stay frosty, all that good stuff. Bye, guys. Everybody say bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. All right, you're muted. Oh, wait, no, shit.
You're not muted.